Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Bikes or Death podcast presented by Old Man Mountain. As always, my name is Patrick, and I am your host. And I apologize right off the bat. I am battling a virus that I think is a cold, but I'm really late getting this episode out to y'all, and I'm really excited about it. So I want to push through and get this out to y'all. So I'm sorry if today I sound a little icky, but we're going to get through this, and I am really excited about my guest today. Today, I'm talking with Tyler Freakin Reynolds, who is another amazing human athlete. We had a great conversation. Tyler is the manager of Trek West University in Houston, and the night before, we hosted a bikepacking clinic in his shop, and then the next morning, we recorded a podcast. Tyler is relatively new to bikepacking, but he was the first and only person to ever complete the Texas Triple Star Challenge, which is our version of the Triple Crown. Originally, I was calling it the Showdown Triple Crown or the Texas Triple Crown or something like that, but I decided that we already had a bikepacking Triple Crown and there wasn't need or maybe even room for another Triple Crown. So we've rebranded ours. Now the Texas Showdown Series, if you complete the entire series in a calendar year, we call it the Texas Triple Star. And that is a nod to the Lone Star State and makes it a little bit unique. But anyway, enough background on that. But that is what the Texas Triple Star is. And if you complete the entire series in the same category in a calendar year, you win a beautiful handmade, handcrafted belt buckle by the one and only Kyle Gilbert. They are freaking awesome. You can actually see it in today's episode if you're watching on YouTube. And in 2025, that was the first year that we have rolled out the entire Texas Showdown Series, meaning it was the first year that we had even the opportunity to even have a triple star finisher. This year, we had a total of 8 people that attempted this challenge. Throughout the course of the year, we had more that were signed up and trying, and as the year went on, the field whittled down to 8 were remaining at West Texas Showdown. But in the end, only one finished the entire challenge, and that was Tyler Freakin Reynolds. For the record, we went over his numbers in today's episode, and I was a little bit off, so let's get the right numbers out there right now. These are Tyler's times for the 2025 Texas Showdown Series. At ETS, he finished in 1 day, 9 hours, 37 minutes, which was good enough for second place. At CTS, he finished in 1 day, 4 hours, and 37 minutes, which was good enough for first overall in the slowdown category. And at West Texas Showdown, his time was 1 day, 15 hours, and 45 minutes, which was good enough for first place. And I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but Tyler was competing in the Slowdown Singlespeed category. So technically, Tyler is our Slowdown Singlespeed Triple Star finisher for 2025. It's a really impressive story, and it was a lot of fun to catch up with Tyler and hear all about it. Tyler is relatively new to bikepacking. He only competed in 2 bikepacking events prior to this, one of those being an attempt at the AZT 800. And we're going to go into Tyler's background and his entire Texas Showdown experience on today's episode. But before we get to it, let's take a moment to thank the people that made today's episode possible, starting with our latest batch of patrons, which I don't think we have any this week. So if you would like to support this show, you can find out more over at patreon.com/bikesor-death. And in other news, I have a lot of events on the calendar to tell you about, so buckle up. We have a lot of opportunities to ride your damn bike, and I'm excited to share them with you. The first one is presented by Old Man Mountain, and it is a bikepacking campout and after party in tandem with Sea Otter this year that's going to be taking place from April 16th through the 19th. What is the bikepacking campout and after party? Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have space for 100 campers at the Old Man Mountain campout. But it's not just limited to campers. It's available and open to anybody who wants to come and party and hang out with us for the evening. But if you would like to reserve a campsite, that option is also available for you. There are going to be a lot of fun activities happening every single evening at Sea Otter, including movies, clinics, talks. They're going to be covering topics like field repair, cooking on the trail, wilderness first aid, and a lot more. Honestly, they're adding more stuff to this event like every single day. So it's just going to keep getting better and better. In attendance, we got some A-listers in attendance, including Kurt Refsnyder, Ryan Van Duzer, and John and Mira, all of which who have been featured on the Bike Sort of the podcast, and myself are going to be at the Old Man Mountain campout and after party taking place in conjunction with Sea Otter this year. And I'm really excited to go. I've actually never been to California, which blows my mind. So I finally get to go to California. It's wild. On Friday night, Swift Industries is going to be mixing up some adult beverages, and we're going to have s'mores available for you. But like I said, there's a lot of activities, a lot of stuff going on. So to learn more, head over to oldmanmountain.com. On their homepage, there is a banner. It's right there in your face. You can't miss it. Go there, check out all the details, register if you want to. And I'll see you at the Old Man Mountain bikepacking campout and after party happening at Sea Otter this year. Next up, let's talk about East Texas Showdown real quick. We are a little bit over 2 weeks away from the 6th edition of the East Texas Showdown, and I cannot be more excited. This is the race that kicked it all off. This race this year will kick off the entire series and is your opportunity to get in on the Texas Triple Star belt buckle if you want one of those. It's taking place from March 27th through the 29th. We have over 200 people registered, and we have lots of options for you to ride your damn bike. Everything from a 42-mile gravel ride all the way up to 400 miles of East Texas Pineywood glory is available to you. And if you've been on the fence looking for a reason to get off the couch and come ride your damn bike with us in East Texas, this is your sign. I've got a coupon code for you. For 15% off registration at ETS this year, use the code GETOFFTHECOUCH. All one word, all lowercase, get off the couch. Come ride your damn bike with us in East Texas. I can't wait to see you there. And last but not least, the Ride Your Damn Bike Festival is back for a second year. This year, it is taking place from May 22nd through the 24th. The Ride Your Damn Bike Festival is a collaboration between Bikes or Death, Ozark Gravel Cyclist, and Experience Fayetteville. And we are putting on a badass bikepacking weekend opportunity for you in Fayetteville, Arkansas. On Friday, we have an expo and workshop that is taking place at the Ramble in downtown Fayetteville. And then on Saturday morning, you have a couple different options to ride your damn bike. First up, you have the Fayetteville Ultra Circuit, which offers riders opportunities from 100 to 400 miles. Or you can join me on a beginner-friendly, lightly supported bikepacking ride in the Ozarks. This year, we are taking on the Lake Weddington bikepacking route that was developed by Bikepacking Routes, and you have a couple different options there. We have a 59-mile option that is gravel and pavement only, or you can sign up for a 68-mile option, which features some amazing single track on day 2. And I'm excited to announce that our camp host for the Ride Your Damn Bike Festival Community Overnighter is the Wanderer Outdoor Adventure Hub, who is going to be curating a amazing bikepacking camp experience for you. And Balcones is going to be providing some adult beverages for you to sip on as you reflect on the day and maybe soak away some of your pains. To learn everything that we have going on at the Ride Your Damn Bike Festival, you can find out more about this event and all the ones that I've talked about today in the show notes. Oh, I almost forgot. I have a coupon for the Ride Your Damn Bike Fest Community Overnighter as well. For 20% off registration, use the code BikesOrDeath. Can't wait to see y'all there. I had so much fun at Ride Your Damn Bike Festival. We got a lot of events going on. We're already starting off the year with a bang, and I really am excited to ride my damn bike with you. There's lots of ways to do it. Come see me. Come find me. Let's ride our bikes together. All right. That's it. I know we had a lot to cover today. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was valuable, and I hope you'll find us out on the trail. But for now, let's get to my chat with Tyler Freakin Reynolds. Welcome to the Bikes or Death podcast.
It's so exciting to be here, Patrick.
What is so exciting about this?
Cycling has always been a huge passion for me, and I've always wanted to see what I was made out of. And a lot of the inspiration that I've taken is from podcasts and books and things. So I always thought it'd be so cool to do something one day that other people might think is cool enough to be invited to a freaking podcast. So here we are. This is a dream come true, Patrick.
That's awesome. Yeah. You actually had a real answer for that.
Yeah, I did.
So you like legit, listen to podcasts and you're like, man, it would be cool to like be on a podcast one day. We're doing it. It would be really funny if I was like, podcast's over. That's it. And your whole podcast was like 45 seconds.
I still made it big, baby.
You're like, hey, check out my 45 seconds of Bikes or Death.
That's awesome.
That would be funny. Tyler Freakin Reynolds. When did I start saying that?
You started saying that at Central Texas.
Was it Central Texas?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've loved that. So that name has stuck with me. Now within my friends circle, they all call me that. They've relabeled me that on group chats and everything. And it's so cool. Yeah.
So now whenever you show up on like your friends' phones, it's like Tyler Freakin Reynolds is calling me.
Yep. Even the background of the chat group has Tyler Freakin Reynolds written into it now. So it's awesome. Yeah.
What is this chat group?
It's one of the local gravel clubs that I really owe a lot of my success to. Just picking their brains and getting an idea and them encourage me along the way.
What's the name of the club?
It's the Pearland Gravel Grinders.
Okay. Who started that one?
Not sure who started it, but I was invited.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah, I was just invited into it because one of the technicians in the back is a big player in that area. So once we got a little bit closer, they invited me in. I became good friends with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, before we like dive into your whole bike history, what you did at the Texas Showdown Series last year, because this is your first time on the podcast, I do like to do a getting to know you round,
sure.
Where we just dive into a little bit more of your background. But I think appropriately, it's worth talking about what you do for a living, and we're actually at Trek West University, where you are
I'm the store manager here. As you said, this is Trek Houston West University. This is a flagship Trek location. I think I have something like 600 to 700 bikes in here at max capacity. We are by volume the 5th largest Trek in North America.
Dang. Yeah. That's crazy. Who's number one?
Right now would be Lamar, actually, right out of Austin.
Okay. So Texas is like showing up big.
Yeah, Texas is a couple of heavy hitters.
Yeah. How long have you been the manager here?
2 years, just about on the dot.
Oh, wow. What did you do before this?
Very, very different. So before this, I was a field engineer in oil and gas. So I would drive around in an F-250 to chemical plants, pipelines, manufacturing facilities, and hospitals. And I would work on really big electric motors and generators. Just getting dirty, playing with tools, getting nerdy. And this is wildly different.
Okay. How did you make the transition from that into this?
Yeah, so I've always loved bicycles. Everything I've done in my life has been to chase around bikes. But I also found myself with a family. I was also in the Coast Guard, so made a family then, had to figure out how to pay for a family, started chasing after some dollars. So down that rabbit hole, and that actually brought me to Texas. But on the side, bicycles has always been like my truest love, biggest passion. Mm-hmm. So, money and dollars are great, but if you're not home to see your family and to see your bikes, which are your extended family, then what's the point of making money, right? So
your family and your adopted family.
Yeah. So I knew from podcasts such as yours and books from people that I'm very interested in learning about, there's a different way of life. So I threw that career away, went and got a bachelor's in business leadership and wrote up this very beautiful resume just so that Trek had to call me back if I applied, even if, I didn't get the job. I came running. It's been a dream since.
Okay. So you put Trek on your radar, mm-hmm. and then did the work to get their attention.
Yeah. Yeah. My 3
break
years.
Break that down. What did you do, and why was it Trek?
Yeah. So in the last career, I took 3 years to kind of rise from the most entry-level person to the senior person in the field. And throughout that time, knowing that that wasn't going to be my future, I was always thinking in between moments of what I'd like to do really with my life. And so I knew it would be bikes, but I didn't know that I could make a career around bicycles. Typically, there's not big dollars or anything attached. There's not a lot of corporate ladder to be climbing.
Yeah,
I knew like a small shop would be something that I would get tired of. I need something to chase after in a big way. So I didn't know that that existed until they actually Trek released this drone footage tour of their headquarters in Wisconsin. I watched that and I was like, that company looks cool. Look at this facility. Started diving into it. Found out I had a friend that worked in a store in Plainview, New York, where I used to live. And I was like, man, this is a dream. So yeah, identified this as the company. And then like success is your level of preparation, right? So the only way I was going to get this is if I wanted it more than anybody else, all of the other people that are competing. So yeah, I was like, what does that look like? Well, everybody's going to be applying, but my resume better freaking stand out. Otherwise, why would they call me over the other pile of applicants? So I took 2 years to go get a degree, and built this beautiful thing up and spit shined it, and they called. So,
That's insane. So it took you 3 years from I have this idea and this goal to put in the work, and then you actually did land the job that you were going after.
Yeah.
And was the job you wanted was it specifically manager at a Trek store?
Yeah, I didn't know like what the position would be. I knew the company was identified, and I knew that I had to strive for something that would have the income requirements that I would need. And then also, I like to be a leader. I like to solve complicated problems. So I knew that like the level amongst the corporate tier had to be certain height, right? That I would have to earn my way into, and I'd have to build myself up to earn that position. So the store manager was the most accessible role that made the most sense for me to get into. And actually, this store is my second store. My first store is Champion's store that's in Spring, here just north of Houston. That's a much smaller store. I was there for 2.5 months when this opportunity came up. So this whole experience has just been a dream come true.
What do you think? Do you know what it was that you did, or what was it on your resume that really stood out above the other applicants? Because I have to assume there's I don't know, hundreds of people that are applying to take this job.
So, dare I say, much like in racing, you don't want to tell your secret sauce away of how you're...
Well, you already got the job.
So, yeah, I think that the military teaches you a lot. It teaches you how to show up, be clean cut, communicate well, represent yourself well, have high levels of ownership in any project that you're involved in, and then grinding through the very tough various jobs I've had since. Extremely demanding jobs in the plants as an engineer in the oil and gas. It all those experiences kind of just dive into it. So you want to represent those attributes of yourself in such a way that I want to talk about myself, but I don't want to overdo it and seem overconfident or seem cocky, but I do want to advertise what I can offer. So the best way, I think, is to make a really professional resume and then a very personal, passion-driven cover letter. Most people, and as a hiring manager, I see that now firsthand as well, most people do not make a cover letter. And I think that's insane. If you want a job bad enough that you're going to fill out this tedious application, you can write a cover letter of why you want to be there.
Yeah.
If somebody writes a cover letter, they're automatically at the top of my pile to look at their stuff first.
Yeah.
And it has to be your own language for that same reason as well. You can't use ChatGPT to write these things, as I'm seeing now all the time, which blows my mind, because I expect to have a Harvard scholar on the other end of this phone call applying to be, like an assembler or something in my bicycle store. And it's like, I answer the phone and they're, yo, what up, dude? And it's like, wow, this is not the guy that wrote that letter.
Yeah, I'm talking to a different person.
Yeah, for sure.
Or, technically you're talking not to AI.
Exactly.
All right, so you're at Trek.
Can we talk about the fact that the Trek CEO is coming to your store in, I don't know, a month?
Yeah, so they will be coming in, CEO and some executives. The stores, I mean, the company is really cool. The high level of management here, they understand that things look different from their vantage point than it does here in the field. So they try to visit a couple hundred stores each year. This year, they'll be coming to the Houston market, and we're kind of the icing on the top since we're the big shiny store. So yeah, we'll have like the end of the day, and we'll go a little bit longer on that visit. But super exciting to see Mr. John Burke here in the shop.
But you were telling me like you're one of the best performing stores in Trek, in Trek's inventory or whatever of stores in a market where cycling is struggling right now, right? Is that...
Yeah.
Clean up my language. What is the...
So yeah, I dare say that that's absolutely correct. I mean, the cycling industry has been challenging over the last couple of years since COVID. This store, it's just, I'm so wildly proud of this team and this store and the things that we have accomplished. Without diving too deep into our platform, basically what that means is that any target that the store could have possibly hit in 2025, we hit and excelled. And the most important of those metrics, we excelled in such a way that we were the number one performer in the company. Number two is far behind.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm excited to tell that story whenever they come in.
Well, I'm going to get this scoop right now. John can listen to the podcast and he can get the scoop. But
that's awesome.
What is it? I mean, and remind. So you've been with Trek for like 2 years. How long have you been at this store? And what is it that you think that either you're doing or employees doing? Like, what is this store doing well that's causing such a dramatic difference?
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're helping me practice for this interview that I'm going to get later.
Yeah. He will ask this question.
You know it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I attribute our success to our culture first and foremost. These stores are corporately owned, but they empower the store manager to make this thing whatever they want. They call us a founder, and I see it the same way. Mm-hmm. When I'm spending money out of our store's budget, it feels like I'm spending money out of my own pocket. I have a huge high level of ownership. And because of that, I can make this thing what I want it to be. Out there, I have a racetrack that goes around my store with an official race bike that's a children's tricycle that we have modified to be an adult tricycle. I have a leaderboard on it that has all of the staff's times. I don't know if you guys know who the fastest one on there, but it's me. I'm just kidding. So, we just
you
make
have a home field advantage. You just get to sit out there all day and like do hot laps.
I love it. Yeah, I know what I'll do when somebody finally beats me out there. I know how I'll go a little faster too. But anyway, the culture that we can make in the store, it feels like a mom and pop shop, but with the power of a corporation behind it. Mm. That has been my success. I'm sure you've walked into bike shops before. Are you greeted at the front door? Do you feel like you're a burden to be in their space? You go and you want to play with a super bike, and are you looked at like, hey man, you're not qualified. You're not fast enough to touch that thing. Like, no, man, you walk in this shop, I give your dog a treat. We have a lot of fun. We race bikes. We make fun of each other. I give you some free beer courtesy of St. Arnold. And this place it's a huge party all the time. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's easy going.
And it's huge too. It's like the Buc-ee's of, I don't actually, in Texas, everybody will know Buc-ee's, but it's a huge ass gas station, which sounds ridiculous, but you got to Google it, Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like the Costco of bike shops. It might be I was trying to think about it actually when I was like going to sleep last night. I was like, is that the biggest bike shop I've ever seen? And I think it might be. Like, it's huge. And we're in like insane custom fitting studio. You were saying you have like Olympians that come through
anybody
here,
from your very first bicycle ride to Olympians will come through this studio to get a bike fit. So that's pretty nice to have.
I'll give you a compliment if you don't mind, but I have to, I would assume you have to take some of the credit. You can't take none of the credit for the fact that your store is performing so well. And I think if I was going to take a guess, it stems from your own personal passion for what you're doing, the love of the community, the love of, you race your bike, you are in the cycling community, and you didn't just like waltz into this job. Like you you targeted this, like, I want that job, and now you have the job, and your passion paired with your drive is like, we and the reason I'm referencing this, we did the a bike packing clinic here last night in your shop, which was really cool. We had a really great turnout, but just listening to you like talk to your customers, I mean, they weren't technically your customers, but it would be the same thing. I'm watching Tyler Reynolds do what he does every single day, which is talk to people about bikes and going camping on their bike and racing their bike. And you have a high degree of like familiarity with what you're talking about, and it's backed by passion. And like that passion is one of the most infectious things that a human can have. When you're passionate about something, and I don't care what it is, like if you're talking to someone that's passionate about underwater basket weaving, but they're really passionate about it, you're like, all right, yeah, tell me the nitty gritty. Like I want to get into it. And that it transcends, it like, it's like palpable, and so, I think you might have a little bit to do with it. So suck on that, his employees that were talking shit about him.
Yeah, there we go. Get those guys back.
That was just for the employees in the back.
I was going to say too, like the culture is half of that battle, but you can't have the culture that is going to be a winning formula without the right people on the team. So anybody that's on this team is here because I want them to be, I believe in them, and they want to be, and they believe in me, right? We believe in each other.
Yeah.
Our team out there, they're all just like me in their own regards. They have all different riding genres that they're going to be into, but podium winners and commuters, just day riders, and every type of cycling is represented out there throughout our team. And they're just bike nerds like me. They just want to talk about it all day and help other people out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me use this opportunity to get some insider bicycling knowledge, right?
Let's do it.
I mean, this is bikepacking centric podcast, so let's start there. What are you seeing with the interest level in bikepacking? I think you have an advantage being a bikepacker yourself. I know you carry bike. I know you carry Old Man Mountain stuff. I actually haven't walked around your whole shop. I made a mental note. I'm like, after this, I'm going to like walk around the
grand
entire
tour. Yeah,
I need to like actually see the entire thing. Yeah. But I know you carry bikepacking stuff. What are you seeing as far as like just anecdotally and the interest in bikepacking in general?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was thinking about that just yesterday on my way home from our bikepacking clinic. This store historically has been a very road racing based store. And we're seeing a shift in this store and in others for ultra distance gravel, standard distance gravel, and because of that, bikepacking as well, because that's the next progression. And that's saying something because we're right here in the middle of Houston. It's not a lot of wilderness. Houston's big, man. You can drive like 2 hours and still be in Houston.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm seeing that here centralized in the middle of the city shows me that your average person, the people that aren't like the crazy diehards for this, they're thinking about it. They want to do it. So they're coming in and they're asking about it. They don't know that this store has me and others in it that are very interested. They're just people walking off the street like, I was thinking about this and like, I don't know, this sounds crazy and I want this kind of bag. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you're talking to the right guy. Let's go talk for 2 hours about this. And they're like, I didn't mean that much, man. But I'm seeing it a ton right now.
Yeah. Do you have any sense of what's driving it? They come in and they say, oh, I saw an article, I watched a YouTube video. Like, do you have any idea of like what's driving it? My sense is it's just becoming more in the cycling community. It's just like, if you're in the cycling community, you're more likely to touch it. You have a friend that did it, you saw something adjacent to it. It's just becoming more quote unquote mainstream. It's getting there.
I think there'd be like a couple of different driving factors. One of which is like, if you think about the marathon in a running event, the marathon is this huge thing and we can talk about it and get so excited about it. After a while, we've talked about it. We've been excited about it. What else is there out there? I always need that next thing. Now let's start talking about the ultra distance marathon. Whoa, that's this like huge new thing to be excited about. And I think that the bicycle people are starting to realize that. They're starting to say, oh, well, those smaller distance races are very fun and we still love them. But what is that happening over there? these races are getting bigger and more prevalent all over. I think it's just on people's radars more because it's this exciting new thing we've not learned about yet. I also think that it has a lot to do with, like life in general is tough, is getting harder. We live in this age where we're not talking to each other face to face. We're talking through a screen, through a phone or whatever. And there's a lot of like mental health downfall that comes with that when you lack the socialization. I think that bicycling in general, but then also bike packing and ultra distance racing is an opportunity for people to once again connect in the way that we were designed to do. It's this very social thing that we're doing. So I think that's I've seen my customers become empowered and uplifted just to be a part of this.
I'll take that one step further. I agree with that. And I would also just add, and we're using our bodies in the way they were intended to be using, right? Like
absolutely.
We were not designed to live in, boxes and moving cars, right? Like we were designed to move our bodies, be outside, get tired, eat, rest, repeat, and so like it's from an evolutionary standpoint, it's like we're just tapping into something that I think is hard to quantify, but whenever you tap into it, you're like, oh yeah, this just clicks. This feels right. It's checking that box or scratching that itch that has been dormant for a while. And then like you add on top of it, like the personal fulfillment of it, of like training, preparing, growing, failing, trying again. And like, you just keep moving that needle forward and it's like, oh wow, you can gain a real sense of like accomplishment and personal pride from that. And you can impress your friends at Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they won't have any idea what you're talking about.
It's so funny. My family, they just kind of know I'm a lunatic by now, and they just kind of like nod and smile when I'm telling them about hallucinations and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's awesome. I'm also seeing that like bicycle companies in general are taking notice of this trend getting bigger. And so we're seeing more and more products, excuse me, they're starting to get released that are designed for the long ride. Bikes that are designed to put bags on their bikes. Long distance, it's all coming more and more from the companies.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question is, I mean, we saw obviously a huge spike with gravel. Like once gravel came in on the market, it took over. What is hot right now? What is the biggest growth segment in cycling from your perspective as this shop manager, not speaking to the worldwide cycling industry?
Yeah, so by passion, right? So not by volume what's moving, but like by passion, the biggest growth, like you said, has been the gravel industry or segment. Because these people they're not excited about dodging cars. They're not excited about staying in one line. They're excited about like, I can go off in wilderness and be in peace with my friends and there's no cars and we can wander and explore. So I'm seeing a lot of that increase. And again, in the middle of a city where that's not, I mean, there's thousands of miles of dirt roads outside the city, but even right here in the center, we're seeing it.
So gravel is still the hottest thing going right now.
It's growing. It's growing a lot.
It's still growing. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's get into your personal cycling history. When did you become like a cyclist, or what was your kind of like entry point into like?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's always been a part of my life. I have earliest memories of riding my little cousin's tricycle, little like the big wheel when you're a toddler kind of thing. And I thought that was the coolest thing there ever was in my 2-year-old brain or whatever. And then it just progressed. I remember my Huffy that I had when I was a kid. I remember my first Jameis mountain bike that I was given for my like 16th birthday.
Oh, hell yeah.
I remember my Voodoo that was given to me by an uncle who saw my passion in cycling. I've always been obsessed, and it continues to drive every decision that I make within my life. It's chasing after riding another trail.
Okay. So it's just always been a part of your life.
Always been there.
Then when did bike packing and this ultra cycling thing come on your radar?
So I have a hard time sitting still. Once I figure something out, I'm on to the next thing. I got to go find bigger and crazier things. So that looks like, what's it like to get through boot camp? Then I did that. What's it like to sail in 50-foot swells in the Arctic? And then I did that.
No.
What's it like to run a marathon on Mount Everest, having never run more than that time in boot camp? They made me run 6 miles and I hated it. So I went and did that too. I've always tried to find the next crazy thing. Yeah, I trained for the marathon on Mount Everest in 50-foot swells in the Bering Sea with 6 months' time to prepare for it.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with that. Did you take oxygen?
No. So you don't go to the top of the mountain for that race. You go up to 19,000 feet to base camp.
Oh, so you run up to base camp? And
yeah,
then,
so tangent thought on that. If you're ever thinking about doing these races, first off, I can't encourage it enough. That will change your life forever to go to a third world country of Nepal and see all of this and then do that race and finish it.
Yeah.
It took me 10 hours and 31 minutes to finish the dang thing, but I crawled across that line. So this is what I want to say about that.
Yeah.
In my head, my 22-year-old brain at the time, it was like, oh, okay, if it starts at 19,000 feet and it ends in 11,000 feet, all I have to do is keep moving my feet and gravity will kind of do the rest. I don't have to be a super athlete. I just want to finish the thing. How hard can that be? So it's what I've learned. It's Nepali downhill. That's a different thing. It's not downhill. It does this the whole way.
Yeah.
So 10 hours, 31 minutes later to finish that sucker.
Well, I thought you went up to base camp. Do you go up and then down?
No, so the hike up is like 2 weeks of acclimation to altitude.
Okay.
You fly into Lukla and you start hiking up to base camp from there. And then you also get to spend one night on the glacier, the Khumbu Glacier at base camp before the morning of the race. And you've got like the porters carrying your stuff and seeing villages and their families and how everybody lives and communicating with people from around the world. They partnered me with another American sailor, which was hilarious because he was a captain in the Navy with this like low-ranking dude in the Coast Guard. So that was hilarious. So yeah, it's this whole event.
Gave each other shit the whole time.
Absolutely.
And so you camp up and then you run down.
Yeah.
You do a half marathon starting at the base camp and going
So
down.
it's a full marathon from base camp.
Did
down,
I say half?
Yeah, down
I
to
meant
finish.
full, yeah.
They have a full distance and then an ultra distance. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I'm glad I didn't sign up for that one though. Now I probably would.
Was it a 50K or what?
I don't know how much further, but
Yeah.
dude, it's at 19,000 feet. Like throwing snowballs at each other is exhausting. Never mind running mileage.
That's insane. Okay.
So I figured that out, right?
Yeah.
Like what's harder than Mount Everest? I got out of, that was while I was still in the military. Got out of the military, relocated to Colorado, and I heard about this race called the Summer Bear. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. I just did this thing on Everest that I like suffering. Let's go see what that's about. It was a bike packing race.
Okay.
It went from Steamboat Springs into Wyoming and back a couple of times, 30, 40,000 feet of climbing. I don't know what it was. It's like 300-ish miles. And I was like, cool, let's go look into this thing. I found out that was so much harder than Everest was to me. Because in Everest, all I had to do, like everything was catered for me. I landed in the airport, Sherpas and porters took my stuff, and then somebody told me which way to walked with me. My food was prepared for me the entire way. Everything was, all I had to do was walk and run and probably drink too much of Nepali beer, which is pretty good up there. But
it's even better at elevation.
It is, yeah, just a little bit goes a long way.
I bet it does.
So in bike packing, not the case. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
You are the product of your own decisions when you're bike packing. And I didn't know anything about anything, but I was just stubborn and I wanted to go for it. So I did. And I realized I scratched in like mile 200 or something, but all of these people that were in there were like elite athletes, real cyclists. I was always passionate and a strong mountain biker, but like I wasn't an athlete. And I was in 5th place when I scratched. That was really strange. That shouldn't have been. And like I was the last person on course. Everybody else behind me already scratched as well. So like a couple of people finished, then I scratched nobody. So like I was really proud of that performance, even though I was so mentally weak that I didn't accomplish what I set out to accomplish, right? So I call that a failure in my own mind, but I'm also really tough on myself. So some time went by and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I got involved in oil and gas and feeding a family and kind of forgot about it and just had to do what I had to do for a couple of years. And then now here back with Trek, it's like, remember that time that I did that silly thing? And I'm always trying to find the next hardest thing. And it's always like a podcast or a book. I keep saying that. I got to stop listening to you. And oh shit, it's me too now. Damn it. So I just get inspired, right? So Lael Wilcox set out a freaking documentary of the Arizona Trail Race. And I was like, whoa, that looks cool.
Right.
That doesn't look too bad in the documentary. I did Everest. I've been to boot camp. How hard can this thing be? Dude, that was so hard.
Yeah.
So I signed up and I showed up. That's like my life's motto. Sign up and show up. Have the courage to do that.
And what year was that? And what distance did you sign up for?
2024, signed up for the full AZT. It's 860 miles. You got to cross the Grand Canyon, port your bike. You know that whole story.
And so you went from the bear thing in Colorado, took a few years off, and then that was like the next event that you signed up for? Okay.
Yeah. And like
that's the right progression.
Straight to the hardest thing possible, just like Everest.
In Bikepack, we recommend doing an event, DNFing, taking 2 to 3 years off, and then going straight to the AZT 800. That's the right trajectory of bike.
Absolutely. Full send only. So I got to Arizona and I was like trying to figure out how I was going to get travel logistics. So I hired a local there who is really well known within that race to kind of drive me to the start line, pick me up if I scratched, or from the finish line, get me back to my car.
What was his name? I wanted the same guy that drove me, but I'm trying to remember his name.
His name is Mark. His last name is, I have a hard time pronouncing it. It's like, starts with a Seminelli or something.
Is he the guy that drives the old beat up white truck?
No, different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had a Prius and then like a new electric RAV4.
Okay. Yeah, different guy. There's a handful of locals that'll do that. They'll be your Sherpa, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Super cool. So anyway, I was like, hey man, where should I meet you so you can get in the car? And he was like, oh, meet me at Alex's house. And he said it just like that. And I was like, all right, am I supposed to know what that means? Because I'm no idea. I've never followed this sport really. So it's Alex Schultz at Alex Schultz's house.
Yeah.
And so here comes this very unsuspecting looking person that just me and Alex sitting in the back of Mark's car on the way to the starting line of this beast. And they're looking at the stuff I had brought for this race that I thought was a good idea. Totally the wrong stuff. I had like 12 days of MREs packed into a bike. And I was like, so like, who's this Alex guy, right? And he's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that won last year. And I'm like, oh, right. So that was like this huge, like, why am I sitting next to this guy? This is crazy. He shouldn't be anywhere near me. I'm not worthy of this.
I believe he was on the podcast the year before that. Yeah,
absolutely. So got to the starting line of that race. I gave it all I had. Boy, was that a wake-up call, man. I thought I was going to be doing 100 to 150 miles a day. My first day, I did like 38 miles, and it took me from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
And I only stopped after being super lost, covered in cactus, crashing a couple of times, and just pissed off that I was like, I'm done. I'm getting in my tent. And I told myself I was going to quit that night. But in bikepacking and in life, like if you just take a deep breath, break down your problem, and wait till tomorrow, like you can find a solution. So I kept going. So I thought it would take me like 12 days to make the full race distance. I found myself at like day 7.5, finally crossing the 300-mile finish line because there's 2 different distance segments. And I was like, that's good. So yeah.
Pick a post, pick me up.
Exactly. And you finish that race to like an empty parking lot in the middle of the desert at 2 a.m. or whatever, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Luckily, Mark was actually there because he was watching my dot. What an awesome dude he was to be there to take this like silly, cheesy picture of me at the end looking like a lunatic coming out of the desert. I'm so happy for that. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I got home and I don't know, man, like I kind of hated myself I'm very critical on myself and my aspirations. I was so pissed off at myself for making it to 300 and struggling so much. So I knew in my head, I want to go back and I want to not just finish this race, but I want to finish like a gentleman, not somebody that's clinging to life with anything left that he has.
A little dignity left.
So
a little dignity left at the end. That's all I need.
So it's like, how am I going to do that? Right. And then I'm just like pondering and thinking internally and kind of quietly processing this problem and trying to figure out how to solve it. And one of our employees here, Tim, was signed up for your race, the East Texas Showdown, which was in March. And I was like, well, that's a couple of months out. Can't be harder than freaking Arizona.
No, it's not.
Let me go try that. Let me see what I can learn just for fun, just for something to put on the calendar. And maybe I can start gathering some data points for how I can go back and be better at this next time. So I did. I went and signed up and showed up for your race, chickened out for the big distance at the last minute and downgraded to the 300 mile.
Really?
But just to keep it really challenging mentally for myself, I decided to rip the gearing off the bike and do it single speed. Because why not? And because it's different and it's fun and it's a little bit harder, and I wanted it to be a learning experience.
Yeah. So again, we're seeing where, this is a pattern of yours, I feel like, where you said to yourself, I want Trek. I want to be a Trek. I want to work for Trek. Okay, now what do I need to do to put in the work to earn Trek? And so now you're saying, you took a little bit of a different approach with AZT. You just signed up all willy-nilly and went out and did it. And then you realized, I need to learn, I need to grow, I need to prepare. You learned a lot, obviously, on your first attempt, but and now you're putting in the work so you can go back like a gentleman.
Exactly. I wouldn't say that I just showed up blind in AZT the first time.
Yeah.
But my experience wasn't there to know what was more important than the other. So like the hurdles that I had to go through, the barriers to entry of like, how am I going to pay for the stuff that I need? How am I going to get this time off from work? How am I going to get there? Who's going to pick me up? What am I going to do when I get stung? All these crazy things.
Yeah.
But I chose all the wrong stuff because I had no idea what I was doing. So like that preparation was still there. But to win any race in life or on a bicycle, all you have to do is want it more than the next guy. So if you prepare for it because you want it more, you're going to win. You're going to be in the top ranking, whatever. You're going to get it.
There's a book that I read, and I actually had the author on the podcast. This was years ago, but the book is called How Bad Do You Want It? And you seem to like to read books and get inspired by them. But that was the book that really like pushed me when I did my first bikepacking race, which was 500 miles. How bad do you want it? What that internal question, asking yourself that, is like one of those things that can help, not just in the event, but like in the training leading up to the event. Because like you have your goal, you're like, this is my goal. The question is, how bad do I want it? Do I want it bad enough to suffer right now? Do I want it bad enough to keep pushing? Do I want it bad enough to ride when it's cold and rainy and I don't feel good or whatever? Answer that question. How bad do you want it? And if you want it bad enough, you can get it. Do you want it worse than the person next to you? It's an extension of that question, because they're asking themselves that question, how bad do they want it? And you're asking yourself, how bad do I want it? And I mean, and you can't discount totally preparation going in, mental strength, physical toughness, how well did you train? I mean, those will come in, but oftentimes in bike pack racing, the gaps are pretty wide. We don't have the
split second finish.
Second finishes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely going to listen to that book while probably doing your race, just to think of this moment. And then I'll go sign up for something really stupid after that. Thanks, Patrick.
You're welcome. You were going to sign up for something really stupid anyway.
Yeah, you knew
it. So you were originally signed up for Showdown, but you were going to do it geared. I'm curious why you degraded to 300, and that's not like I'm not trying to diss you, but I'm just curious because like everything about you is the extreme. And so what was your thought process for going to the 300? Was it just an opportunity to like learn? You're like, I just need to like take one step back, learn it a little bit better. Anyway, don't let me put words in your mouth.
I was very in tune with what I needed to do to prepare my mind for the future battles that would come in this sport. And I didn't want to set myself up for something that would be too hard immediately, or that I would not be able to conquer, because I didn't want another negative thing in my mind. Like, oh man, I failed 2 in a row, or I underperformed versus what I wanted to 2 in a row. I don't want to be discouraged from this. So I downgraded the distance to keep it more of a fun, measurable thing that I felt more prepared to conquer. But then I also wanted to put the single speed to remain honest with myself so that I'm not just giving up on this. I'm making this more realistic for where I am in this space and time, but I'm still going to make it really challenging.
Yeah.
So that was it.
I mean, there's a lot of wisdom in that, because if all you do, like we're both signed up for Doom, and I could have signed up for the big one, which is what, 330 miles? What is it?
Yeah, just something like that.
Something like that. And mine's like 205. And I had the exact same conversation. Like, I've had some DNFs. One of them was on the AZT, and which I'm fine with. Like, it doesn't like eat away at me, but it's also like I need to take one step back, go back to like where I think is a more reasonable level, and rebuild those like positive thoughts and be like, oh yeah, you can finish things, you know? And 205 is like it's what we were talking about in the bike packing clinic. Like, there's not shame in going 205 miles, you know, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard.
That's so hard.
It's 200 miles on a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When you signed up for the East Texas Showdown, were you aware of the entire Texas Showdown series? It's actually interesting because, like, when you signed up, nobody knew if there was actually going to be a West Texas. We knew, and I was putting out there that we were hoping for, but there weren't permits in place, and a lot of things needed to come together, and a lot of things almost didn't, and then they did, and then we wound up having it. But that wasn't on your radar at all. So when did that come on your radar?
Yeah, I don't really know when I started discovering that there were the other locations. I kind of just signed up for this thing just as the one-off. I didn't realize it was going to change my life. I can honestly say that.
Wow.
So, didn't know that.
Well, we'll save that for towards the end. That,
okay.
That sounds like a good question to ask.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your training, because what I know of you, or I think I know, is like you take training, like you're very dialed in. You're not like, we'll throw this in here and we'll like exercise or train this way. Like, you're very dialed. What was your training for ETS like? Like, what did you do to prepare for ETS?
So I've tried both approaches to this. I've tried just winging it, and I've tried a very structured regiment, which I find to be the better thing if you want to be competitive. So for ETS, it was the other one. I kind of just wung it.
Okay.
I took what I learned from AZT, and I underestimated the race because of AZT. I learned what like better stuff to bring. And I actually showed up to that race not prepared to race. I just wanted to finish the things. I didn't regard myself as somebody that was faster, that could be fast.
Right.
So it was a rolling party for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it remain a rolling party?
It did not. Okay. So it did not. So I went and I found myself, I don't remember the name of the gas station, but it's the one with like the old timey pump out front, whatever. I found myself a quarter of the distance through the race, and through the mud, after the mud, all that sorts of fun, having a great time on my drop bar mountain bike single speed, just having the time of my life. And I was like, let me look at this silly ranking to see how far in the back I am. Holy shit, I'm in 5th place.
Yeah.
That's cool. It shouldn't be like that.
5th overall, not 5th single speed.
5th overall. Yeah. So I was like, I should really try. Let's see what happens. Like, if I go nuts, maybe I'll blow up. Maybe I don't know. I'd only planned to ride 90 miles a day times 3 days when I signed up. That was my plan for the race.
So you went straight, which is how the Slowdown was designed, by the way. Like, I designed it in a way where you could ride, 90 to 100 miles a day, camp for 6 to 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, or 6 to 7 hours will be like what the kids these days, and then make it in time for the hoedown. So like going into it, you were just taking I'm just going to go
out for a bike ride,
have a bike adventure. You know, it's still hard. Like, let's not diss it, but you weren't thinking about going balls out. You weren't thinking about being a wild man. You were like, let's just go out there and get a win, or a win being a finish, I should say.
Yeah. So I started, like, I'm very competitive, and that part of me started coming out in a big way because I'm passing people. People are trying to keep up with me, whatever. And they're like, hey man, like, you're pretty fast on that mountain bike. And I'm like, thanks. And they're just like, hey, like, you only have one gear. And I'm like, you're right, I only have one gear. Oh, you've got a lot. So I started like getting uplifted by the other competitors. And then I noticed like didn't know anything about race mental strategy and how to mess with your component at the time. But they're like, hey, like, how far are you planning to go tonight? And I'm like, weird that everybody keeps asking me this question. They wanted to know their own strategy to see if they could keep up or outperform where I was planning to stop. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, they're so friendly. So,
and maybe some of them were.
yeah, I don't know. But so I just kept going, and my 90-mile plan turned into like 150 miles in the first day, which was the furthest I'd ever ridden before in one day.
Wow.
And I actually wanted to keep going because at the end of 150 miles in one day, weirdly, I was just so excited. Like mental takes you so far. I was feeling fresh. Like I just started riding a bike, never mind like at the end of this crazy day. And I was riding side by side with Joey Acuff, who is the first place single speeder, as it turns out.
Yeah.
But I was feeling stronger than him. I was moving faster than him. I was getting to places faster than he was. And he started saying like, hey, where are you planning on stopping tonight? And I'm like, oh, this guy's so nice. And so I was like, oh, I think there's like this campground. I didn't even know where the designated campground was. I found out during the race. So like, I think there's this campground over there. That sounds good. I'll probably stop there. What are you going to do? He's like, yeah, I'll do that. And then he was like, oh, like what time in the morning? He got me good. He's like, what time in the morning or do you think you're going to get going? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I got this guy. I'm going to tell him some crazy time. I was like, he's like, yeah, the grocery stores don't open till 7. I need a resupply. And I'm like, oh yeah, me too. That sounds great, Joey. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that. Got you, sucker. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to keep rolling.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is he was doing the same thing to me, but he was better at it. And so I woke up at 5 a.m. going, hee. Oh, he stopped for like 30 minutes. And he's like 50 miles ahead of me. That guy got me good.
All right,
so
Joey.
I learned that lesson. He won. I got this second place guy here when I was just so excited to have that as well. But yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Joey's out of Arkansas, right?
He is. And I get to rematch him kind of because he's also doing Doom, but we'll be in different categories.
Is he doing single speed again?
He's doing single speed and the middle distance or the smaller distance. So we'll be kind of different, but it'll be nice to see him there and be able to gloat that I'm in the bigger one now. I'm just kidding. I love the
guy. How well prepared were you going into ETS? So you didn't do a lot of training.
Yeah.
From a gear perspective, like, was it just a big learning opportunity?
It was a total learning opportunity. I just wiped the slate clean. As far as like strategy and all of that, I didn't know. I just took what I learned about gear from AZT and just signed up and showed up. I made it up as I went. Totally wung it.
So one of the things that you learned, I'm guessing, is that, hey, I'm kind of okay at this.
Exactly.
Like you went in with very low expectation. Exactly. You're like 5th. Now you're in this like battle with Joey. You're playing mental games with each other and you're like, oh, I'm actually okay at this and I like it. Like, is that?
Yep. And that's exactly the correct way of thinking about that. I was like, what happens like if I knew how to prepare for things and win races in life, right? We've talked about that. What if I apply that same mentality to this sport? How far can I go? What can I accomplish? What barriers can I overcome mentally and physically? Because everything about this translates to life lessons. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to find out.
What is your thought about, I've talked about this on the podcast a million times, but Mike Hall has a quote that essentially is, there's no such thing as a failure if you learn from the experience. But like you're talking about a lot about how hard you are on yourself, you beat yourself up. Can you also like recognize that, your AZT experience and the one you had in Colorado, while you didn't complete the goal that you went for, were, opportunities to learn and to grow, and they set you up for, your failure is the thing that pushed you to keep going and getting better, you know?
I mean, I agree with that in 100%. Also, like, if it's easy, then it probably wouldn't captivate my attention. So, like, the failure sticks in my mind. Like, if if I just wanted to figure out how to do something and I did it, like whatever, I'm not even going to think about it later. But this failure, this thing I couldn't do, like, that one is like a thorn in my side. I have to figure that one out.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely.
It's a motivator.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like get you down. It just,
it
serves.
Totally gets me down for a while. It totally does. Like it takes me a while to get over myself and be able to come out of that slump. I'll put on a good face, but I'll really be pissed off at myself for a while.
Yeah.
But then once the dust settles in that, then I look to see the learning opportunity that it was. Like, all right, pick yourself back up, put on your big boy pants and figure out what you did wrong. How are you going to do it better next time?
There you go. I'm curious to get your perspective as somebody who is still relatively new to bike packing, even though you've had some great success so far. And starting out, I don't know what did you call the one in Colorado? Is Bear something?
It's a Summer Bear.
Summer Bear.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that one, so I don't know what that's like, but what was it like to, have the AZT experience and you finished to a parking lot full of no one to, coming and then going straight into like East Texas Showdown where, one of the things that I try to cultivate is specifically the community, the finish line, the hoedown, coming together, hanging out, celebrating like that different aspect of it.
I love it. It's amazing. I mentioned about how, man, at the end of AZT at that 300-mile finish line, I was so spent. I was so gloomy and just like, I want this to be over so bad, depressed and all of that. I got there to find Mark with a camera and a smile and a freaking Prius waiting for me. And it meant the world to me to have one person in the desert there for me. That was the only reason he was there, right? So your races are parties. The finish lines and starting lines are parties. Along the way, that's a party as well. But like to finish, dude, my favorite thing, I don't know if I've told you this, but you have to find ways to continue to motivate yourself to keep going when it's hard. You were like, I'm going to give you a big hug at the end of Central Texas Showdown. And I was like, I want a big hug. That sounds good. Dude, that hug, that thought of like, I'm getting that fucking hug kept me going so many times.
I love that.
And then so when I finished, I sprinted past my family and gave you a hug. Give it a damn hug.
You did go right back to your family and give them a big hug too. But I do get the first hug typically.
Yeah.
I
loved it.
Yeah. I'm always sliding in there before the family, but I get out of the way.
So thinking about that too, if you remember, like, I stayed to the very end of both races, and at times it was just you and me at 2 a.m. or whatever in the dark. I'd set alarms on my phone from my truck because I thought that rider would be coming in because I remembered how important it was for me for Mark to be there.
Yeah.
I wanted to give this guy the best welcoming party. Even if he still had to go back out for the death loop or whatever, I just wanted somebody to be there for them. So I can't say how passionate I'm about that.
Yeah. No, I love that. And a lot of people in the community get that. And we'll have people like at 3:00 and you're one of them that'll like set an alarm and like come out there just to welcome. It'll be like 4 or 5 of us out there, but it's always nice when people recognize like the value in like finishing to someone else. What stands out to you about East Texas Showdown? Like aside from the experience, but from your own, like, I have some good questions. Well, there's one story we have to talk about from CTS for sure.
Sure.
We're going to get the real story. But yeah, what stands out from your East Texas Showdown experience?
It's tranquil. It's totally tranquil. It's me floating through space and time on a bicycle in this beautiful place. Texas is so beautiful, but we forget that sometimes when we're driving 10 freaking hours or whatever to the next town, right? Like, it's got these beautiful locations, and that's all of your races are. But East Texas, I love forests. I love green.
Yeah.
The trees there are very unique. I understand that there's not many else in the world that are like that patch.
Yeah.
And it's just me and a bunch of people who I've just met, but now we're going to be life friends, meditating on bikes, and it's totally peaceful.
Was that your first time to like see like the community all come together? Like you're like, oh, there's a lot of us here.
Yeah. I wrote this I did the bikepacking.com article, which was really cool about the races. In the beginning, moments of ETS when you're thinking about like the pre-race anxiety. You look around, I'm freaking out, dude. I get crazy anxiety in that moment. I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, that dude's going to be faster. That guy brought a lot of shit. That guy brought too much. I'm going to beat him. That guy's drinking a beer. Okay, whatever. That guy's got a flask of whiskey strapped to his bike. That guy just showed me his nipple. Not real sure what's going on. And so you realize like there's more to this than meets the eye. It's awesome. And that was like, oh, this is my family. This is where I belong. This is where I should be.
You forgot the guys with red nose, the clown nose. Yeah. You got the clown nose guys.
Yep.
Actually, one of the clown nose guys is also the nipple guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but I've got a great picture from, it's obviously like his move.
Yeah.
Because at East Texas Showdown, I was out on course taking photos, and he just gives me the nipple. And then at West Texas Showdown, we have a photo of him, full nipple action.
So his name is Scott Gregory, everybody. You can go
Scott
find
Gregory,
him now.
the nipple guy.
Awesome dude. Yep.
Yeah. If you scroll through the footage, you'll definitely see his nipple. That's a great move.
Yep.
Do you have a move? Do you have like I've landed on the guns. I go double guns whenever there's a photographer on course. Like, do you have a move?
I don't think I have a move.
Yeah,
I
gotta work on that.
I'll develop one for you for East Texas.
Yeah,
I got you.
We need a move. There's people like there's Calvin. He always puts up a camera, so he'll do like it's like a selfie camera. So like the camera from your perspective, like you're seeing his face in the camera, and then also like his face in the background. I'm not explaining that well.
I like to yell at the photographers. If you in West Texas, when I passed you, if you remember what I said when I screamed,
what did you say?
Let's go, motherfucker! I love yelling at the photographers.
I love it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because you're like one of like a bunch of people that are coming by yelling at me, and like sometimes I hear what people say, and sometimes I don't. You remember Victor from West Texas Showdown?
Love Victor. He's awesome.
He's awesome. My favorite video. He was a little bit behind you. I remember that time whenever I was on course, because there was like 20 or 30. I just like caught it at the perfect moment, and there was like a bunch of y'all like coming by right at the same time. And I didn't even think it was that funny, but Victor was like pedaling off, and I was like, "Make your mama proud!" And he was laughing so hard, he literally like got off his bike and was like belly laughing like over. And it was only funny because you're in the middle of the freaking desert and somebody is like yelling at you. You know, it's like just one of those moments that makes it kind of funny.
Yep.
All right, so you come in second place at East Texas Showdown. You went in a little willy-nilly. I know for a fact you hired a coach at some point and really like started to maybe take it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
What did you learn from ETS, and what changed between ETS and going into CTS?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I kind of refined my mind for what I wanted to accomplish within the sport. Not so much of like just sign up and show up, but like really apply myself to it. And I found that I did not have the discipline personally to do the training unless I had a company commander screaming at me like in boot camp or, somebody holding me accountable for it. I did not have the discipline for it. So Brian Freeze, my coach, is friends with technicians here in the shop. So he came in and I just kind of organically became introduced to him. He was just did Cape Epic. So we became friends naturally right away, and then found out he was a coach. So I started doing that. Man, that is some hard work. Waking up at 5 a.m. every day to be on the trainer for 2 hours, and then drive an hour to work all day. It's crazy hard to do that.
Yeah.
That discipline came in though. And in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't know if I want it this bad. But then I started seeing the progress from it. And I was like, whoa, I'm getting really fast, really quickly. And now I'm beating all of my friends locally. And I'm setting these KOMs. And people are like, oh, Tyler's this like super fast dude. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Oh, I guess I kind of am now. That's cool. So I was like, double down, let's go.
Yeah.
So, and then I got into like nutrition and started working with 2 nutrition companies and learning food. I went full speed ahead.
Yeah.
It was training, nutrition, sleep, recovery, and balancing work and family within it to see how much I can do.
Take us through like what does training look like? I'm very curious. Yeah, I think it's important, especially like, you're the general manager, you have a wife, 2 kids, right? A boy and a girl.
Yep.
I've met them. What are their names?
Lily and Noah, 5 and 7.
Lily and Noah. Yeah. Yeah. So like you're busy. You mentioned like waking up at 2 8 o'clock in the morning, but like take us through like what does training look like?
Yeah, so I'll set the alarm for 5. Around 5:30, my wife will get pissed off that it keeps going off on snooze again, and she'll kick me out of the bed.
Yeah.
I'll hop on the trainer as soon as I can. I'll spend anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning on the trainer, and they're hard. Like I'll get into the shop after that, limping around the shop. So like food, sleep, and recovery becomes so important, so you can get back on the trainer and keep doing this at that level the next day. And so that's Tuesday through Friday, actually through Saturday. Sunday is my day off from training and from work. Monday is my second day off from work. But on Monday, I typically have to ride very long distances. They usually have power targets, but it's mostly for duration targets, just to get the body used to being on whatever bike you're going to be racing. And they ramp up closer to the race. So in the off season, those look like 3 to 5 hours every Monday. Closer to the races like we are right now, it'll be 8 hours. And then leading up to your races, the highest one was a 19-hour ride.
Whoa.
That took me from Sunday morning through the next day. And it's actually, I pre-rode most of the Central Texas route.
I sent you the route
twice. So yeah, I mean, it's just like make a training as hard as possible and give it everything you can, because then the race becomes easier.
Okay. So you're doing like on a daily basis, you're mostly doing your trainer rides in the morning, and then you're supplementing that with like larger rides on your days off.
Yeah, you do
work.
like power, aerobic, VO2 max. Like you're doing all of the like little core pieces of your endurance in the morning, and then you are doing like your core muscle and just being used to being on the bike. Oh, also, I'm bringing a lot of gear with me on those long days to see what's going to fall off the bike, what works, what doesn't. I will also sometimes go out on scouting adventures to see, intentionally not bring enough water, not bring enough food. What happens when I'm really dehydrated? But I can do this experiment in a controlled environment and call my wife. She can come pick me up.
Right.
I'm not that far from the truck, whatever. I can get an Uber. And so like a lot of times in the forest, right where the East Texas is, I'll go out there and intentionally just dehydrate the crap out of myself to learn what happens. Or like bring the wrong stuff. And like what happened, like if I'm in the desert, I'm preparing for AZT. This is right. So what happens in the desert if I'm out of food and out of water and I still have to do 60 miles? Me right now, having never done this, I'm like, well, I'm fucked. My race is done. But if I've already experimented with this and I found out I still had 60 miles in me and it sucked, but then I got water and rest for a minute and then I was fine. Oh, now when I'm in the desert on this big race, like this sucks, but like I know I can get through this.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
Yeah, it's really smart. It's something I talk about a lot. I actually meant to mention this in our bike packing clinic last night, but like whatever you're training for, it's so smart to train in a controlled environment. And you brought up last night, like, doing like short shakeout rides to get used to bike packing. I've said, you can like ride around your block and like sleep in your backyard if, especially like if you're trying to like, I've done this before where you're trying to get used to what temperature am I good at in this sleep setup, right?
Yeah,
like if you want to test,
totally.
And so you'll go in the backyard and you'll test and you're like, oh, I'm fucking cold. Okay, great. Well, I'll just go inside and like sleep in my bed. But like you can test those things in like more controlled environments. And that's such a great strategy. Like don't wait until you're in the shit to find out like how you're going to perform, how you're going to hold up, but like try to like build some armor around yourself and find out how you're going to
absolutely. You go and
like,
intentionally seek out those uncomfortable moments so that you know how to prepare and get through them.
Yeah.
I intentionally look for thunderstorms. If it's going to, like if I'm supposed to be training on a Monday versus a Sunday, but Sunday is going to have a torrential downpour, I'm going to go Sunday and ride through that sucker, which paid off in the races. And then like we had the cold snap come through this past winter, and I woke up at 3 a.m. because the weather app said that was going to be the coldest part. So I can walk outside, get into racing clothing, which is not meant for cold, and sit on my back patio in an e-bivvy and see how long I can hang out in whatever that temperature was until I needed to go inside. Okay, now I know that this stuff will keep me comfortable in this temp.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I think is important for people to hear, because I don't know how many people are. I'm actually curious, like how many people, take that approach and will like seek out the hard thing and like test out how long can I survive in this, and like, how waterproof is this windbreaker that I bought that I haven't actually tested yet?
Exactly.
Like just stuff like that, and it's hard. There's a lot of gear. There's a lot of stuff to test. It's not like you can just go on one little overnighter and test the full arsenal of like all these things. It takes time to like really, test all the different parts of your mental toolkit, your physical toolkit, and your literal toolkit, your gear that you take.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Nutrition.
Sure.
So I assume there's two components of this. There's off the bike nutrition and then on the bike nutrition. So like, from a training perspective, what did you do nutritionally to make sure that you were fueling and doing it? Because, we could throw rest in there if you want to, but that's another component, that it's not just like how physically tough you are, but you have to feed and fuel your body to be able to perform and recover and keep going.
Yeah. So for me, I had to figure that out because I can control my environment while I'm in training, and I have to maximize the training load that I'm going to get. Can't do that if I'm feeling like crap the next day. So I need to figure out food. I don't have a lot of time to cook, to meal prep. I'm not a wealthy man. I can't afford to go out and eat every day and do all of this. So I started looking at like meal prep companies. I found out there's a company called MyFit Foods. They have a location just right down the block from here, so it made a lot of sense. And then I met one of their reps through a store event that we had. So I was like, okay, let me try these things. And it's just a better quality food. They get real technical about everything it has in it. I don't really care about that. I just want to not be eating garbage all day and have what I need so I can work all day and be able to recover. So every morning I will stop in and I'll pick up a couple of pre-made meals from them. And we've created a really good relationship. So now every time I go in, it's really exciting too. They're like, oh, what stupid thing are you going to go do tomorrow, Tyler? And I'm like, I'm going to ride a bike 12 hours. They're like, you're an idiot. Awesome. And so that's like the food part. Like you have to get food that will fuel you in a clean way for training. You cannot live off of like fast food and candy and crap if you're trying to ask your body to perform at the highest level. You have to feed it to the highest level. And then also another company that I found, this job is so helpful for me in racing too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Unbroken is a company that makes like a recovery drink, and the taste of it is not for everybody. So when I first got the product in, I gave it away as some samples and stuff. And I was like, hey, tell me what you think. And everybody came back and they were like, this stuff tastes terrible. And so I just disregarded it. And then I was like in desperation as I'm limping across my store. And I'm like, all right, let me just try this. It says it's for recovery. And like it worked. And I was like so excited. So then I was like testing for placebo. Maybe it's in my head. Maybe it's not. What happens if I stop taking it? What happens if I race with it? What happens if, and so I went through all the paces with it and found that it works really, really well. So now I drink a ton of that and it helps a bunch.
Yeah, you actually told me about Unbroken. So I was on the phone with Joyce just last week and she's sending me a bunch to try out, but I'm really curious about it. And you gave me a sample too. And I didn't have a problem with the taste. I didn't, because to break it down, like it's literally like it comes from fish and fish gut more specifically. And she broke down all the science, and I'm not a freaking scientist, but I'm glad there's scientists out there that can figure that stuff out. But I'm really interested in it. I mean, anybody should be, because like, the only way you can make, I mean, it's like that's how steroids work, is they allow you to recover so you can keep building muscle. And so that's something that we don't talk about enough is the recovery aspect of, anything. Anytime you're trying to improve, sleep is so critical. That's when most of your gains are actually realized. And so like that recovery is so important. Anyway, so I'm curious to try out their product. I didn't have a problem with the taste. I'm curious how you take it, because she was telling me you could take there's all different ways you can take it, but ideally you're just taking on a fairly consistent basis.
Yeah, so I don't mind the taste at all. I think that some of them I prefer other than others. The lime one is not my favorite, but I found recently I put it in some cold water and actually like really enjoyed it. So I don't know what to say about that, but don't have a problem with it. To prepare it, I will put 2 tablets in a big water bottle if it's like a heavy training day or my legs are really tired, or the night before a race and during race, I'll take it in bigger doses. And then like if it's like a normal day, just like 1 at a time. And then I can also bring it with me on the race. So like when you're racing regularly, you don't have My Fit Foods pre-planned meals with you. You're eating like a trash panda anywhere you can get food and ice cream, like you're just putting it down. So like I can bring this thing that I know works in training and know will fuel me throughout a race. It's easy for me to bring with me. I'll also mix it with scratch a bunch because then I'll get salt and electrolyte and what I need to rebuild muscle.
So what is your fueling strategy for races? You can't take the MyFit whatever meals.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there is something to be said for like when you're talking about preparing going into races, also like learning the foods that your body can tolerate and you can perform well when you're tired and your body is rejecting everything you're throwing at it essentially.
Yeah, so I think everybody's different. Like there's different ways to think. Like some people will do carbs per hour and they get really scientific about it, or they'll want more sugar, sweet, whatever. My approach is like I eat what I crave. And so I found that the night before a big effort, I want grease and fat. So I will eat some gnarly heavy burger or whatever that's just really belly bomber. I feel that I can have so much more energy the next day with that grease and fat in my body. And then throughout the race, I get real bad cramp issues. So I stay on top of that like a scientist because that will ruin your day. So I don't really have a problem with it anymore, but I'll make sure that I'm doing salt. I'll bring some caffeine with me. I'll bring some potassium with me, and then some like emergency cramp stuff to get me out of a bind. But otherwise, it's like, how much room do I have on this bike? I bring a minimalistic setup. I make it to a gas station. I got to be in and out as fast as possible. I don't have a pre-plan for what I want out of the gas station unless it's something that came into my mind and I can't get it out. Usually the ice cream, sometimes hot dogs. And so it's just like, I hope they have that. I'm going to be heartbroken if they don't. So you have to make sure you don't get too like
attached
close
to it.
Too attached to that so that your heart isn't broken when you get there. But yeah, you just like get into the gas station or whatever and you're like, that sucks. That's ugly. I usually love those. I can't think about that right now. Ooh, peanuts. And then so you'll just take whatever sounds good in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's it. You eat like a trash panda.
Yeah.
It keeps you going. But like continually eat. Don't stop eating.
Well, I like what you said too, like, because essentially what you said is I just listen to my body.
Yep.
And I really believe in that. Your body is going to tell you what it is craving. And so just listen to it. It's like, I'm thirsty. I need salt. I need electrolytes. Like it's gonna tell you what you need, I feel like. And sometimes it'll tell you nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes you're winging it. But yeah, like if you follow your cravings, your body is usually craving what it is currently lacking.
What was the difference in how you felt from a preparation standpoint lining up to East Texas versus Central Texas?
I showed up to East Texas having drinking a couple of beers the night before and just like out for a party. Like I didn't feel like strong. I didn't feel like an athlete. I showed up to Central Texas like a fucking machine.
Yeah.
Like every box was checked. My spreadsheet was created and dialed, right? Every little thing was counted. The bike was checked and rechecked. I was ready to go.
Did having that much preparation add pressure to you? Did you feel more pressure on yourself?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I've done the work. Now I've got to like show up for myself.
Yeah, but I love that environment.
Yeah.
I thrive in that environment.
You want to be.
I freak myself out so bad and I get this anxiety. But like once the race starts, again, a metaphor for life, I am so excited. Like once I get past that initial hump, that like this pressure I've created for myself, I'm in the spotlight. I've told everybody I'm doing this. I told myself I'm doing this. I will not fail. I cannot fail.
Yeah.
And it gets me going faster.
I mean, you have one of the coolest storylines through all of the Texas Showdown series. for people, if anyone participated in CTS in 2025, they'll remember. But for anyone who didn't or doesn't know, there was a pretty significant thunderstorm that rolled through over. So let's see, we started Friday. So it probably started about 1, 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, somewhere around there.
I think it was a little bit more like 10 or 11, but yeah, in that evening.
I think and it depends on where you're at on course.
Absolutely true. Yeah,
you know,
true.
It hit a different anyway, but it started Friday evening, late to the wee hours of Saturday morning, and it was like hard for 4 or 5 hours of
it sucked.
like really hard.
Yeah,
it got cold, it got windy, and it was, from a race director standpoint, it was, you know, all hands on deck. We were high alert, watching the storm carefully, watching all the dots, and it was really great because everybody sheltered in place, everybody got somewhere safe. Which made the race director feel great, except for there was this one dot. There's just one.
Oh man, I love that.
And it was yours, and you kept going. And the nice thing about it is I knew you well enough to know that you were a wild man, and you were like, you had even told me before it started, like, I want it to rain.
Hell yeah.
Like, bring it on. Like, your approach is like, I want it to be shitty for everybody else because I know that I can, and I know this because you told me, so I don't want to take the words out of your mouth.
Hell yeah. So like I learned this in a book, this quote, and it's to be uncommon among the uncommon. What a cool thing to think about. What a cool thing to earn the title of. So I aspired to earn that. And if I think about that, like, that makes me want things more than other people. It's all the same stuff. So knowing this thunderstorm is coming with also hail and a headwind. Also, I'm the highest thing up through the rolling hills of central Texas, and the thunder is stupid loud. So I wanted to be uncommon. And so I started that race like a bat out of hell, because I wanted to beat one of my colleagues, Stan Lee, so bad. I'm happy to say I annihilated that guy. Sucker. Take that, Stan. Got him. So, but like, 100-something miles into this thing, my neck and my back were killing me. No matter how much you prepare, shit just happens. To where I had to stop and lay on a flat ground for like 45 minutes just to get my body to kind of work again and keep going. And, I knew once I got back on the bike, I would make it towards Kerrville, and then the weather app said it was going to start raining. I was kind of like, whatever. And then it said I was supposed to have a tailwind. But to get there, I had like, 100 more miles of headwind or something. And so body hurting, I turned this like bad thing of the storm coming into like, I can't wait for the storm, because I know that the vast majority of the field are going to give up or stop moving. But I trained in thunderstorms in the Piney Woods. I'm not scared of thunder. Thunder comforts me. I'm a Bering Sea sailor. Storm in nature makes me excited and at ease.
Yeah.
I also knew this cold water is going to hit my really banged up body right now and refresh me. My aches and pains are going to go away. And they did. So, I get to Kerrville, where Stan cowered. I'm just kidding. I love him. So he did the smart thing. To turn south when I was supposed to have that tailwind, it turned into a headwind of howling gale for the rest of the race, another 100 miles. I figured that, the more hardcore people are probably going to be riding through this thing. I didn't know I was the only dot in any discipline and in any distance still moving.
Yeah,
it's
it was a legit wild storm. Like, the right thing to do was to hunker down. But that's the thing I love about solo self-supported is that you get to decide. I said it last night in the bikepacking clinic. I'm not your freaking dad. If that's how you choose to do it, good on you. Go have fun.
Just as the storm was rolling in, there was a gas station for like the final resupply. I don't remember the towns till like the very final one. There's a big stretch between this one and the next one. So I'm in this gas station. The attendant is looking at me like the lunatic that I am, all crazy and wired. And I got out, I'm loading the bike up, and here comes the rain by the time I got back outside, and it was now freezing, and the rain was nuts. And I'm literally just like laughing. Like, am I really about to go do this?
Right.
As I'm standing underneath, the covered awning. Like, am I this stupid? Like, am I really this much of a lunatic? Like, yeah, I fucking am, man. So I started going just laughing at myself. And, my lights at 200 lumens so that I'm conserving battery, which is like a jar full of fireflies going through a howling gale thunderstorm. Like it's not enough. And then like the flooding there's a bunch of flooding and river crossings, and you don't find them until the bike suddenly disappears underneath what you thought was the road because it's all black.
Yeah.
And so like, I thought it was hilarious. Like you can look at that and be like, oh dude, this sucks. You're done. You're over. But like, it just cheered me up.
Yeah.
So I kept riding until the end of that thunderstorm. And by the end of it, I didn't know. I looked at the dot. All my electronics and stuff were fried. The Dot Watcher app said that I was in like 5th place again. And I was pissed off about that because it's not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is that the people that it said had already finished, and I was like, wow, they're so fast.
Oh, they
scratched and were driven back, and their GPS pinged them as done.
Yeah.
So we
haven't updated Follow My Challenge.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I kind of got tired towards the end of the storm. It was still like early in the morning. It's still pitch black. The adrenaline was gone. I just expended so much energy just laughing at like my predicament, and I got tired. So I fell asleep while riding the bike. I didn't crash. It was only a split, second of falling asleep. I was woken up, just the internal compass, realizing that had that falling feeling. Like the ones that you have in your dream where you're like endlessly falling.
Yeah.
That, but real.
Yeah. And you wake up and you catch yourself.
Ah, shit. Oh, I'm on a bike.
Yeah.
So I managed to correct and not crash. But when I did so, I blew the bead on my tire and had to get off. And it was like, that sucks, right? I'm so tired. I don't want to be dealing with this. So
what mile was that at? Because you were like within like 100 miles of the finish or something.
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 170 or a little bit further than that. It was like, that Bat Castle where there's like the gnarlier water crossing that's really slippery.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, anyway, I know.
It's like just, I think it's just on the other side, just on the back side of that guy. That's so slippery in there.
Oh yeah, very slippery.
That was fun. But yeah, just on the other side of that. Because actually,
I recommend walking it actually while we're
don't
talking
ride
about
that.
it. Yeah.
Do not ride that. Absolutely. Yeah. I walked that. Do not ride that. Even in the daytime, don't do that.
Yeah.
So flat tire was like, that sucks. Good thing I'm very smart. I brought all my spare flat tire kit. Good. My inner tube has a hole in it straight out of the box. So now what do? Couldn't reset the bead, didn't have a compressor with me, right? All I had was a deflated tire. Sealant is all out of it. There's like grime and stuff in the inside. Like, yeah, I'm fucked. There's nothing I can do right now. I didn't want to give up. So in my training wisdom, I knew like, if I think about this, if I slow it down, if I break down this problem, I can probably figure out something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like pushing my bike now through the dark, turned my lights off to conserve the battery. My battery bank was killed in the storm. And I was like, I do know how many miles were left because I was pondering how long it would take me to jog that. So there's 60 miles left.
There you go.
And
yeah,
I'm
I thought you were
like,
closer to the end. Yeah.
Fuck, man. Like, at least if I finished like pushing this bastard for the next day or two or whatever it's going to take me to get there, I'll have finished the race. Even if it's dead last, like I want to at least get there under my own power.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, that math is crazy. That's so stupid.
I don't like that.
I'm not trying to do that. And then I was like, this bike isn't rolling. And I was like, what if, can I like kind of figure out how to get this thing to roll? And I was like, what requires the tire to stay on? I was like, internal pressure from inside. Like, what can I do? What if I like put some shit inside of the tire to force the bead up against the rim? That way I can at least roll it. So I was looking around. I was like, ooh, grass and mud and dirt and whatever else is from this rainstorm. So I started putting all that stuff inside the tire with the intention of now at least I have a bike that I can roll a little bit faster and I'm getting a little bit closer to having a solution. So the bike rolls with grass inside of it. Better than I thought it would.
That's crazy.
I was like, interesting. What happens if I try to ride this? And I was like, the tire will probably come back off and I'll probably shatter this carbon wheel. but I work for Trek and I know our warranties are awesome. Fuck it. I'll blow this wheel up because they'll just give me another one. So I tried it and it was like, holy shit, you can ride this thing. And the tire's not falling off.
Yeah.
So I got back off, repacked it like 3 or 4 more times, which is really difficult. Broke several tire levers trying to do that to where I got like a functioning bicycle tire.
That's crazy.
Just like like there must have been cow shit and who knows what else just packed into that thing. What I found out, which is hilarious, like you got to find ways to entertain yourself in those moments to stay positive.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious that I couldn't figure out how to pack this thing so perfectly that it would roll smoothly. No matter what, there'd be a flat spot where you didn't pack it as tight as the other one. So now here I am on my carbon road bike, just like every rotation, it's like, ka-slam, 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 ka-slam. And each time you're like, I'm up. I'm not falling asleep again. And so I did that for a whole bunch of time. And I was like, I can't finish this whole thing. But then out of the darkness comes a headlamp from a Lowdowner.
Hell yeah.
And they were like, I have a tube. I can give you a tube. I was like, yes. It was a road bike tube. It was not meant for a big volume tire. And I was like, this is not going to work, but fuck it. Let's try it. And so I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, man, I got like grass in my tire. And he's like, what? And so I take the bead off and I start pulling this stuff out of the tire. And he's like, whoa. I was like, I told you, dude. And so I cleaned it out pretty good. I inflated that tire and it didn't pop. That little road bike tube got me the rest of the way.
It's crazy because if you think about like all the grass and the shit that you packed in there, the fact that you didn't have a single little thing that because and then you have a overinflated
so
tube.
The sidewall is thinner and it's like anything will chafe through it. Yeah. I was so scared. Once I was moving again, I was so scared that sucker was going to pop.
Do you have any idea how many miles you went on the grass and manure tire before you got the
10 miles rolling.
So you got about 50 miles left on this like tube to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got to the finish line of that and just like so happy that I finished this thing and I didn't have to walk 2 days out of the freaking, that would have sucked. But everybody's freaking out. Like, you were nuts, dude. You were just like screaming at me through a bullhorn. I had no fucking idea what you were saying. But I'm like, that guy's really excited. Give me that fucking hug, Patrick. And so everybody's like, you did it, man. And I'm like, yeah, I finished. And they're like, nah, man, like you won. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like the single speed category. And they're like, no, I like the whole thing. And I'm like, what? That's when I found out that those other people had scratched. And I was like, holy shit, I just won the race on this tire.
Oh, so you never went back and looked. So
I had no idea.
Time.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I had no idea.
Bummer. Yeah.
If I found out I won the race for single speed and for overall at the finish line when everybody was freaking out and I didn't understand why.
Yeah. Well, that's good for people to know. Like whenever you're doing a race and you look at track leaders, because like it's a manual process and it sounds like it was in the middle of the night whenever you were looking at it. But when someone, drives back, we have to manually like change them to DNF and it can, depends on what's going on. It take a little bit of time. So it can be a little tricky.
Absolutely.
To like, if you're like looking at that and you're like, oh, wait, they might have DNF'd, but I don't know how to avoid that when you're like tired and trying to do bike packing math.
Just like, give it the best that you can do. And
at the end of the day,
it's
always going to come down to that. But it is nice to know like who you're racing and where you're at in the field.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to West Texas Showdown. What did you do differently to prepare for West Texas Showdown? It was a tight turnaround. Actually, it's crazy what you did in between. I'm just remembering what you did in between. So there was a month time off between Central Texas Showdown and West Texas Showdown, and you competed in 2 different races in between those. Yeah.
So West Texas Showdown and Central Texas happened right about the time where Arizona Trail takes place.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what year I'd go back to that, but I was like, if I'm not going to be racing AZT this year, I at least want to give myself something really challenging. And I think just one of these races alone isn't going to check that box for me personally. So I signed up for 4 races all within a month. And it was Central Texas. And then the very next week was the Ouachita Triple Crown, which is basically the Doom Loop that they now have in the Ozarks. And and I won that one for single speed, and so then second place overall. That was
how many miles was that?
200.
200.
So I signed up for that, not so much because I thought that was going to be crazy hard, but like it was a fun thing to keep it challenging and a filler between those races. That was so hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard. So I can't believe how long it took me to finish 200 miles. So then I got home. The very next week was a shorter race. It was just a 60-mile local gravel race. And I came in second, technically, though I feel confident that I'm calling that first place for a technicality. So did that one. And then, the very next weekend again was West Texas. Oh, actually, so after R3, in the week before West Texas, I'm sitting right here on the other side of this wall, closing up the shop from the day, talking to one of my employees. And I'm like, dude, what gearing do I need to run at West Texas? I'm still trying to figure this out a couple of days before. So I was like, dude, what if I just like hop in my truck right now, go pick up my family and drive to the fucking desert, which is 10 hours away.
Yeah.
Just to ride my bike for an hour to figure out. So I did. And
I was in Big Bend finalizing the
bumped
route.
into you when we were out there.
Well, you called me. You're like, we were on the phone and you're like, I'm thinking about driving out there. It was like at night.
Yeah.
I don't remember what time we were talking about. It was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. You're like, I think I'm going to drive out there. I'm like, when? You're like right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, hit me up if you do. Because I think you were asking about like where to ride and that kind of stuff. So we were like chatting. But yeah, you're a crazy motherfucker, man. Like you're just like
no
you
sleep,
got
man.
off work. Someone said something to you and you're like, I don't know. I'll just drive 10 hours right now through the night. And you were there the next morning.
Yep. And my wife is so cool. Like I was talking to the other guy and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. He's like, dude, is your wife going to do that? Like, really? You're going to hop in the car with 2 kids and 2 dogs and a rental car because her car was in the shop. And I was like, probably. So we called and she was like, right now? And I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, I'll start packing. And he's like, your wife is awesome. I'm like, damn right she is. So,
Shout out Katie.
There we go.
Yeah, she is awesome. She was one of our rock star volunteers. So she is awesome.
Yep.
You're a wild boy. So you went out there and you tried out 2 different gears. What were the gears you tried out and what did you land on?
Oh, I don't want to mess this up, but I think
I thought you were going to say you don't want to give away your secrets.
Oh, I don't care about that. Before the race, don't listen to me. I will lie to you on purpose.
Yeah,
Evan
he
found
will.
that out.
He will.
I'll tell you all the wrong stuff. Like within the week, like I give people, like I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
So like if you ask me right now for a race that's in the future, I got you. I'll tell everything honestly. 1 week leading to that race, don't ask me a question. I'm going to tell you the stupidest shit. You shouldn't be asking me right now.
Yeah, I will lie to you.
Yeah, absolutely, on purpose. I think I tried like a 30-20 or a 30-18. I don't know. I ended up going with a slightly harder gear than what I was advised to do, which I thought was actually the perfect one. So it worked out great.
Which was?
I don't remember what it was, to be
You
honest.
don't even remember what you ran?
No,
at
it's
West
like
Texas?
in my head and out from these things because I'm setting these bikes up, the same bike or different bikes. All of these races I did last year were all single speed. So like I'm remembering, I haven't written down, but I'm remembering the gear ratio. And then I finish that race and I immediately have to forget that and start working on how I'm setting the bike up for the next one.
That's
and
fair.
so like all the numbers just get confused and jumbled in my head.
Me too. They asked me last night, like one of the questions was the different distances for my races, but like what they might not understand is like I'm developing a different East Texas Showdown route. I'm developing different Central Texas Showdown routes. Like I've got so many route mileages in my head that like they're not just fixed in my mind, you know? So anyway, I was like, what was the West Texas distance
I got to resort
again?
back to my notes around nothing.
Yeah.
So
how did your body hold up through all that? That's in a lot of training load, but you've put in a lot of training. So how did your body hold up and how did you feel lining up at West Texas?
That's my employees walking by here making faces at us, trying to get us to
wearing umbrella hats.
That's stupid.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
those guys. So yeah, like how does the body hold up? Not great, man. Like there has to be holes. Like no matter how great of a shape you're in, my mind was able to hold up, which is the thing I was most worried about. Cause like I'm prepared to ride my body to oblivion, but like my mind has to be strong for that. So I was happy to say that did. And I got through West Texas still with an able body, but once I gave myself the time to stop, and tell my mind, like, we're done. We've done it. I've accomplished everything. You can relax now for this amount of time before we get back into training. All of the aches and pains started running back to me. And so that was in December. Still today, like, I have nerve damage in this hand. Every day I wake up and I can't actually close this hand all the way. Every day I wake up and I have to retrain this finger how to close because it is swollen stiff. And then, like, my wrists, those took quite a while to heal from all of the impacts on the gnarly terrain. The knees were hurting a little bit from all the single speeding. The neck and back took a while. I was getting headaches every day for a while just from the strain and the muscle pull. Katie is also a massage therapist, so I'm very lucky. So, like, it took a while to work out all those kinks. But yeah, still a couple left over, but it takes a toll, man.
Yeah. I've talked about that a lot on the podcast where, like, you can kind of outrun your problems, but they're going to catch up to you eventually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they caught up to you. How was West Texas, if you're thinking expectations versus reality, how hard did you think it was going to be, and what was it in reality?
I think it was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Because I had spent the time to go out there and check it out before the race. And then I had already done enough time being miserable on a bike that I knew what that was like. The terrain was, it was good. It was fine. It's hard, but it's not like, it wasn't harder than I expected. I didn't put it on a higher pedestal. It's not harder than AZT. No, it's not harder. Parts of it were really similar. Dude, coming off of that, where that campground was, whatever that is, top of that canyon, that is AZT.
Where the danger sign is?
Oh, I don't know. It's like where the park ranger station is, you make a right turn, and then you, like, go over the ridgeline for a while, and then there's a campground, you just dump in, and it dumps you on that paved road. That was AZT.
I know.
For like 10 or 20 miles.
Yeah.
So I was, like, laughing at that, like, oh, good on you, Patrick. You made this suck for me. Hell yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. I've talked to some other people. I'm like, am I just crazy, or is that like AZT-esque? And the whole route isn't like that, but there are certainly sections where it's like you're doing the whole push your bike up, engage the brake, pull your body up, or maybe, like, hold your bike on your shoulder and climb over boulders or whatever. Like, there's some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. What I found actually was the hardest thing of West Texas was what shouldn't have been hard, which was the flat and the dirt roads.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude, on a single, because I had to bring a mountain bike so I can get past the gnarly stuff, which I'm happy I did. But that also meant that I had an overbuilt mountain bike geared to go up the side of a wall for 160 or whatever miles of flat road.
Yeah.
With Evan, who's been, like, neck and neck with me in all of these freaking races, trying to battle me for first place, just biting at my heels, just like, he's so close
chihuahua
to me. No, not like that. Like, he's right there the whole time. Just I'm gonna get you. And so, like, you're spinning and you're looking at a cadence meter and you're like 110 RPM for a day. For a day.
I saw you on the flat,
like that,
and you're
hurts
just
your legs. Yeah. Like 110 RPM. So that was the hardest part, getting through those. And especially, like, from Presidio to where the dirt started again, that whole, like, on the Rio
Highway
Grande
170.
Yeah, that whole stretch there. God, I was like, oh, good. There's like 20 more miles. Like, it's like 3 hours of single speeding at 110 RPM because I'm doing like 8 miles an hour is my max cruising speed right now.
Dude, that course is rough on single speed,
God.
I feel like.
Yeah, doing that one the next time. I'd like to do it. I don't know if it'll be this year. That'll be a geared adventure for me.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, from a single speed perspective, what is your favorite? What was the best course to single speed? What was the worst course to single speed?
West Texas was the worst course by far. Just because of the variation.
Gear.
You can't get the gearing right. It's going to suck in half of it. But the best one, I really enjoyed single speeding East and Central equally.
Okay.
Because East Texas, with all the mud and all of that, I had big mountain bike tires. I had a single speed. I had a suspension fork. I had 100 mil travel on the front. And, like, the reason I performed so well in that race was because everybody's bike broke. Everybody was stopped and clearing mud and crap out of their cassettes and derailleurs. Everybody had mechanicals, not me. I was just on a single speed, just powering through it, having the time of my life with my cushy suspension fork in the front. So like that was absolutely the bike. I would do East Texas single speed. I think is the more fun way to do that one.
Okay.
Central Texas, I'd never ridden single speed on a road bike, and so it was a gravel bike, but on the road. And I just thought it was hilarious, like grinding up these hills and then having just enough gearing to sprint down them and be hitting 40, 45 miles an hour on the downs without having to think about gearing. I thought that was like so hilarious.
Okay.
Also, single speeding makes you climb faster.
Yeah.
So like if you're on a gear bike, you get to a hill, what do? You downshift, so you get in a cadence that you can sustain. You don't have that in a single speed. You grab those drops and you're just grinding into it, rocking the bikes from side to side to power up the hill where you're walking. So your average moving time going up the hill is way faster. So it's an advantage on that hill if you can sustain it for the duration and if you pick the right gearing.
Yeah.
Lots of ifs.
Yeah. Okay. So you wouldn't put East or Central,
No.
they're even
They
from
were
a single speed?
equally hilariously fun single speed.
Yeah.
Doing those, if I was to do either of those races again right now, just for fun, like maximize, I'd do it single speed.
Okay. All right. Now rate them just overall, experience at the race, the terrain, the sights, the sounds, like whatever, like rate them first, second, third in terms
hard.
of just an event. Yeah.
Central Texas was my favorite.
Okay. I love that. Giving a shout to Central Texas.
I loved it. The Castell General
the
Store.
poor middle child.
The Castell General Store, the vibe, the environment, how chill everything and everybody was, the thunderstorm, my first ever overall victory. Like that to me was a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
It was awesome. My kids were there, my wife. It was so cool. For that reason, that's the number one.
Okay.
Then I would do West Texas because it's raw and remote, and I love how hard it was. That's a harder race. Then I would do East Texas because for me, that's an at-peace meditation race. Just me and some friends in the woods having fun, going fast, riding bikes through the night. So, yeah.
I'm glad you put CTS first because when Eric House and I just did a podcast, I think it was the last one, the one that came out right before this. Oh, you may know that was Kurt. Anyway, and we were talking about how like sometimes CTS gets overlooked, and I don't know why. Like it's such a good course.
I love it.
And honestly, like 2025 CTS was one of my favorite showdowns ever. Like it was just. Everything clicked, the vibes were right. I don't know. It just like, it was one of those events where everything, even though, and it rained, but like the team handled everything well. The riders handled everything well. So like could have gone wrong, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And it, we had the flood where all those kids died. So there was like extra tension that was in the air, at least for some people. And so like, I'm glad you put CTS first. I'm curious what you think because the road scares a lot of people, and I'm actually developing right now. That's when I talked about it before, but I'm working on a very gravel centric Central Texas Showdown route, and we might switch to that next year. But like what I've talked about doing, like not on the podcast, but is like it would be cool to have maybe 2 different Central Texas Showdown routes, or even like 2 different East Texas Showdown routes, and maybe you do like the route like 2 years in a row and then you switch the other one because like I love the current CTS route. Like it's so freaking pretty. The paved roads that are there, like you hear pavement, you're like cars and stuff, but like you're out in the middle of freaking nowhere on like these paved roads that are just fucking gorgeous, So what is your like give me your honest opinion, like the fact that they're like paved roads, like what did you think about that?
So I avoid the roads like
most people do, right? Yeah.
Because I don't like cars. Yeah. If I crash my mountain bike into a tree, I did that. That was my fault. Yeah. Not the same with a car. And so when I learned that race is going to be road, I actually thought maybe I'll go do something else. But I looked a little deeper into it and was like, oh, these are defined as roads, but it's not like what you would normally think of from a road ride. Right. It's the middle of nowhere. The roads are not pristine. They're like that crushed rock, whatever stuff. And it's you and a bicycle and some longhorn Texas cows and nothing else.
Yeah. Some prickly pear cactus.
Yeah.
Some limestone outcroppings.
It's gorgeous. You can get these awesome vantage points. what's that there?
Enchanted Rock.
Yeah, Enchanted Rock. You get to go up higher than it and look down at it. Like, it's awesome. I would not say that's anything like a normal road course.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually texted you when you sent me the route or a variation of it or whatever. And I was like, dude, thank you. By the way, why does it always rain on me when I do these damn things that you make me? But I regard that as one of my favorite routes that I've ever ridden in, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to what you will come up with for the next one. But I think that I'll still save that route file always as my top 5.
Yeah. Well, I'm good. I'm happy to hear that. And that's kind of the message that I want to get out there, is because I think everybody has that initial reaction when they see that much road. But like it's like, what I always say is like, imagine gravel roads in the middle of nowhere, and these counties have enough money to go pave over every gravel road that shouldn't be paved, but they did because this county or these counties, they just have a lot of money. So they're just like, we'll just pave everything. But there's some of those like paved roads where when I was scouting the route, I'm like, is this even public? Is this a public road? Like they're just so remote.
There's livestock all over them.
And there's no trespassing signs on either side. And you're like, is this for me or what's going on here? And so it's like, yes, there's pavement, but man, I think it's cool because you're on what should be gravel roads. And you're getting to go faster.
Exactly.
You know, you can like open your snacks without like bouncing around a whole bunch and hitting a pothole. And so it's kind of like a little bit more of an enjoyable experience because like I've always felt like what I'm seeking is not necessarily gravel roads. What I'm looking for is get away from cars, get away from people, be able to turn my mind off in terms of that, but turn my mind on in terms of the experience and like, oh, that's a pretty scenery, or wow, look at this view of Enchanted Rock or whatever. And when you associate roads with like being on high alert, and it's just not that. And it's so freaking pretty. Like even if I do create another route, which I'm working on, I can't imagine like getting rid of this one because it's just so good.
No, that's one of the ones I'll always remember.
Yeah. All right. So you did single speed. You were the first and only person to have ever completed the entire Triple Showdown series. So we're calling the Triple Star Challenge. I need to come up with a good name. I keep calling it different things, but it's something like the Texas Triple Star.
I love that.
Texas.
That's it. I'm so excited to have this thing.
The freaking belt buckle that Kyle Gilbert made.
That sucker weighs so much.
Have you weighed it?
I don't know. Oh, let's weigh it after this. I have a scale out there.
All right. We'll weigh it after this. Let's take a guess. I'm going to say that's 4.5 pounds.
No, it's more.
It's more, isn't it? I feel like I'm going low.
I'm going to say like 6 to 7 pounds.
Okay.
It's
I think you're closer.
Brass.
I regret my answer.
It's like, I mean, it's so cool. And as I have this thing, like it's going to patina, which I'm really excited about too.
I kind of like these other trophies are like starting to patina.
One could not wear this as a belt buckle.
Have you tried?
No.
I think you should try.
I'll try. I'll it's going to be rough.
I think you can wear it as a belt buckle. We'll show the camera. Look,
there's a suspenders.
There's a whole like situation. The suspenders are actually not for your pants. They're just for this. They just hold this up. You could make it into like a chain.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, and just rock it around like that.
Yeah.
But super cool. And I really am curious. So, I think most people know, but to complete the Triple Star Challenge, the same category in a calendar year. So complete all the races in the same category in a calendar year. So you had to stay with Slowdown Singlespeed.
Yep.
And I'm really curious how long it's going to be before we have another finisher of the Slowdown Singlespeed category. Have you calculated your total time to do? You haven't done it yet?
No.
Okay. I have your individual times, and so somebody on the internet, if they want to know, can add all this up. But so your record for the only person to date to complete the Triple Star Challenge, and worth noting, in Showdown or Slowdown, you are the only person to finish the entire challenge. At West Texas, I believe we had 5 people in the field between Showdown and Slowdown that were attempting it. You were the only person to finish. So, I mean, a huge kudos. I mean, that's like insane for that to happen. Here are your stats. At East Texas Showdown, you got second place. Your time was 1 day, 9 hours, 37 minutes, because that's where Evan played the trick on you.
Joey, yeah.
Joey
I
played.
slept for like 6 or 7 hours, so yeah.
Yeah, Joey tricked you. Then a CTS first place, 1 day, 4 hours, 37 minutes. West Texas Showdown first place, 1 day, 15 hours and 45 minutes. Worth noting, and you mentioned CTS was the first overall as well. And so what is that? 4 days, 15 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, plus some change. So we'll say 4 days and 21 hours somewhere. No.
Math is hard. It's not going to be me.
Let's do meme math. Okay. 4 days and 20 hours.
All right. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
We'll remember that one.
Yeah, we can remember that. So something like that is the current record for completing the triple star Slowdown Singlespeed.
Yeah.
If you were to take a guess, how long do you think that record stands?
I think it wouldn't be hard to beat East Texas or Central Texas times if somebody was to chase after it. East Texas, because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't like fully racing. Central Texas, because of the freaking thunderstorm and a flat tire. I spent so many hours dealing with that. But like West Texas, everything went well. I think it'd be hard to beat that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to do it, maybe this year, maybe not. Maybe it stands for a year or two. Maybe somebody knocks it out. I pray that this year somebody goes and blows that thing out of the water in a mean way, just like Tyler who, so that
gives you a reason
awesome to chase after the following. You're like, oh, dude, and I hope it's Evan. To be honest, like Evan, dude, you'll earn it, and then I'll come get you back.
Oh, I would love that.
Round and round we'll go.
Yeah. I could see it stand. I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me if it's like 5 years or something.
We'll see.
Yeah, because it's such a niche. It's Slowdown Singlespeed. I feel like that's kind of a very niche category to be racing in. What's next for you? You're never stopping. I know you got a big year already planned. So what's next?
So Doom.
Yeah,
that's just in a couple of weeks.
2 weeks? Are we that close already?
A couple. I don't know.
I'm getting scared.
It's like March 13th.
I'm not ready.
So yeah, it's Friday the 13th, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that. Like, I signed up for it, not very excited for it. And as we're getting closer, I've changed my category to be geared. I've changed my bike choice to be a geared full suspension bike. And I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And I'm getting super excited for that.
So originally you signed up as geared?
Single speed.
Oh,
I was going to bring the
yeah.
Esker that we both share the same type of bike, which I think is hilarious. I was going to bring that guy single speed, but then I realized like I dread that, and I've already done that.
Yeah,
because it's a very similar route to the OTC, and I won that race. So like I know what it's like single speed, and like I spent a year pushing a bike up a hill, man. Like I kind of want to ride a bike and go fast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna spend a year doing that this year. So yeah, geared full suspension rocket ship on that one.
And then you're signed up for East Texas too. So 2 weeks later.
So I have Doom, get home exhausted, make the shop gorgeous. Just kidding, John Burke. It's always gorgeous. So that CEO of Trek and all of them will come in like a couple of days after I get home. 2 more days to go hang out with you in the Piney Woods for another 400 miles. This time will be geared. And I'm bringing a suspension fork on my checkpoint, which I'm excited.
Really?
That's why my checkpoint is a carcass of a bicycle right now. I bought it and tried to fix it for last night's demonstration. So I fixed it into a lot more pieces than it originally started in.
So you're running suspension at Showdown, at East Texas Showdown.
Hell yeah.
Like 80 mil? What are you running?
It's 40 mil. So
40,
it's the new RockShox Rudy. 40 was the lightest weight one. Plus it would be like the closest to the suspension, the geometry correction that bike is designed for. So if I went longer, it would have made the front end like, out to the space. But yeah, I find that to go fast, doesn't matter if you're on a rocket ship of a bike and you're in the best health and everything. Like if your bike is uncomfortable, you're not putting the power down. So like I'd rather have a more comfortable but slightly heavier bike. and I love suspension. I'm a mountain biker, and there's a lot of like those roads out there are very like holes and dips and cracks and crossings and blah blah blah. So like I think that's going to be a huge advantage.
Interesting.
I mean, just kidding. People who want to beat me, you should definitely bring your rigid bikes with little tires.
Yeah, you don't see a lot, but I'm with you. I said it last night at our bike packing clinic. Like if like I always solve for comfort. If you're not comfortable, you're not happy, you're grumpy. I just think it has a spillover effect into the whole thing. So the more comfortable you can make yourself, I do like slow is fast, fast is slow. Wait, no, that's not right. Slow is fast. But another way I would look at it is like comfortable is fast.
Absolutely.
You know, if you can just plow through those bumps and you're not,
yeah, absolutely.
It has, and it's hard to quantify how much fatigue that has on your body.
And so much the washboard too. Like you don't think about that. I mean, it's hundreds of miles of just like real high frequency, like hard hits on a rigid fork. Even if you're carbon, like that beats the shit out of you. So just soaking that a little bit up alone, like you're still feeling fresh.
What will be your goals going into ETS this year?
I want to win.
You want to win?
I want to win. I want to
what that takes.
Measure myself against stronger group of riders, which in my head makes sense. I don't know if they're going to be stronger than what the shorter distance was, but I want to see what I can do with them. And yeah, I want to win, obviously. I'll be happy with I won't be pissed off at myself until I get like off the podium. If I get a podium finish, I'll call that a win.
Yeah, Showdown, it's competitive.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the times are coming in fast, right around 24 hours, sub 24 hours. Kuya, dude, that guy, do you know Kuya? You should go back and listen to my episode that I did with him and maybe pick up some nuggets. Okay. But that dude's stoppage time was like under an hour or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like he had made all of his food. He like handmade, he like these power balls that he like made that he knew exactly what was in them and how many he needed to eat, very scientific. The only thing he stopped for was to pee and to get water. Yeah. And that was it.
That's cool.
He didn't have to go into stores and like buy anything. And so like there's some fast times out there. So it's a good challenge. I know I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to tell you, you like a challenge.
Gave me a cool idea.
That's a good challenge. So at Showdown this year, we have the option to sign up on Sunday morning for the gravel throwdown. It's available. So I just want to put this on the internet. I know you know, but like anyone who's doing lowdown, slowdown, or showdown, if they finish in time, can line up for free at Sunday at 8 a.m. And we have two different gravel race options, either a 42.0 mile or a 69 mile. And you can go again. So are you thinking about that? Are you considering lining up for the throwdown as well?
If you were to answer that question for me and what you think I would say, what would it be?
100% yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
As long as I'm not like, a wrecked human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have anything at all, even a little bit left in the tank, I'd love to see how cool it would be to go and have this like ultra distance guy who's exhausted racing against somebody that's just shining up for the first couple of miles. That's hilarious.
So this is a whole new concept, but I just have ideas in my brain and then sometimes I just put them on the internet.
Yeah.
So I'm getting feedback, but it sounds like you're into the idea of like,
Yeah. And plus
it's just it's like a stupid, fun, wild, weird thing to do.
I also love these stories of these people that are, like incredible. They'll go do AZT, finish, win, and then ride their bike all the way back to the starting line, 860 miles in the beginning, and they'll yo-yo it. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, if people can do that, like, I can go ride 400 miles and then wake up the next morning and go for another ride.
We've only had one yo-yo at East Texas Showdown, and that was Indiana Schultz. He's the only person to have ever yo-yo.
So cool.
Yeah, but it is cool, and that's out there right now. He's the only one to finish it. Is this the year that you do AZT?
Yep.
This is a year.
Yep. That is all of the stuff is going to be leading me to AZT. I mean, honestly, obviously anything could happen that can turn those plans off.
Sure.
But that's what I'm planning for. That's what I'm aiming for. Like I said, this year, I want to not just finish the 860. I want to finish it like a gentleman. And I'd love to be one of the top few people.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I'm wishing you luck.
Thank you.
I'm not going to make a prediction.
It's so hard.
I know how tough you are. I know how mentally tough you are. I know how seriously you take this. And you have shown that you are a person who puts something on the calendar or puts something in the universe, and then you do the work to go and make it happen.
Yep.
So I'll be watching your dot and I'll be rooting for you. And it's always fun to see, like, I created the Showdown Series as a way, as somewhat of a gateway. They're not easy events, depending on where you're carrying. But if you're comparing it to AZT, mine are easy. If you're comparing it to the Castell Grind, it's a harder event anyway. But it's always really interesting to see the people that come through the series and how it sets them up for going on and doing some really incredible things.
Your events changed my life. I have said that a couple of times.
How did they change your life?
Dude, like I went from I like bicycles. Like, let me not do it that way. Like I'm so passionate about bicycles, but like I'm not an athlete. I'm not like a top performer in this regard. And anything in bikepacking translates to life. So then I find out I am and I can, which also translates to life. Like, whoa, what else can I do? So it's like this totally rewired my brain and my way of thinking to do more. Yeah. And so now it's also like the perfect stepping stone, like you intended it to be, for me to do longer distances, for me to like think it's even possible for me to get a podium at Doom. Like, really, dude? Like, I'm not, but if I did, which I won't, but like if I did, right? Like that changed my life and will stay that way forever. Like you've set me on a new trajectory for the rest of my life. So
I love that.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you did it. Maybe we both did it together, but it is solo self-supported and you did it. Like you made the decision to sign up. You made the decision to train. You made the decision to, quote unquote, fail at AZT and not give up, but reformulate, go back to the drawing board and come back stronger. So like all I did is create the playing field for you guys to go and show up for yourself. And that's kind of the cool thing from sitting on my side of the table is like, I get to give people the opportunity to, do whatever they want. You took the opportunity to push it as far as you were capable of pushing it. But it's also there, like I was saying last night, for people that just want to go and ride their bike and hang out with friends.
Adventure, man.
It's all good stuff. And you're going to learn something about yourself along the way. All right, last question, and then I'll let you go because I know you got a training ride. Because you're very serious. We've talked a lot about training. But one of the important things is resting. And you and I are both doing Doom, and I've been using the podcast as a way to like pick the brains of my guests to like help myself prepare for Doom. And as we're like 2.5, 3 weeks away sitting here right now from Doom. What does the build up and taper process look like leading up to a race so that you're showing up fresh? You're not showing up mentally fatigued and physically fatigued, but you want to have the fitness. So how do you balance that? How do you taper off like in these last few weeks leading up to a race?
Good that you're asking me this now and not within 1 week of the race. I would give you a different answer. So, I have a professional in my pocket that teaches me how to do this. He's been doing this for his whole life. He knows so much more about training than I do. So I really owe anything I've learned from having that. So training continues to get harder and harder up until about 2 weeks prior to the race. You mentioned sleep. That is something I haven't figured out how to solve because of how many irons I have in the fire just with life in general. So like my sleep time is not what it should be. Sleep is a huge advantage if you can factor that in, if you can schedule that in. So yeah, like 2 weeks up to the race. And then like with 2 weeks to go, instead of climbing, we'll plateau so that the body will start to recover. Nutrients will start to reabsorb. Muscles will be rebuilt completely. You won't have any soreness. And then like the week to it, like this is my own decision. It's totally mental. It's just meditating. I might ride a bike. I might not. But like all I need to just make sure that I fortitude my mind to be happy and positive and ready for this. I think that's just as important as all of those weeks of ramping up to it before. Because like if I am going crazy hard until the starting line, like by the time I get there, I'm fucking exhausted. But if I can give myself that 1 week of grace to just relax, throw the ball with my kids, like chase the dogs around and have some fun in the shop with the guys out there, then I'll show up to that race like ready to go.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you out there in a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then in 4 weeks, I'll see you at East Texas Showdown.
Wait, so do I give you the hug or do you give me the hug at Doom?
We just hug each other.
All right.
Well, I know what we do. Whoever finishes first is there waiting for the other person to give them a hug.
Yeah, it'll probably be you waiting for me, man.
I hope I finish before you because I'm going like 125 miles less than
It'll
you.
be just like old times in that case. Yeah, that'd be so cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, I'll just be at the finish line with I'll bring my bullhorn just for you.
And now because
Tyler, Freakin, Reynolds.
That's fucking awesome. Now
Andrew's
just
gonna be like, what is this?
Yeah,
fucker
dude, what
doing?
is this Texas weird
That's
ass?
my job.
Just because you said that, I'm gonna have that in my mind. So now there's literally no way I can give up on that race because I'm gonna be like, I gotta get that fucking hug from Patrick.
All right, it's on.
All right, man.
I'll see you in Doom. Cheers.
Cheers, dude.
Podcast's over.